Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing to see if you guys can hear me. This is going to be the brief test segment of the show before we get live with the interview streamer Tolomeo. And this should be a good chill edition of the Level 1 podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm going to be on screen in just a sec, actually. But can you hear me? You can. Okay, good. So everyone in chat saying they can hear. I just started the stream, so we're going to get some build up here before we begin. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to run and use the restroom quickly. And I'm going to come back and we'll hang out for like 20 minutes or so just to make sure all the technical difficulties are worked out. We'll make sure the camera's looking all right, all that jazz. And then we will have Tolomeo on as a guest. It's going to be a fun conversation, I feel. Got some good stuff to talk about. Our history and gaming and all kinds of stuff. Nice casual guest who I have no bad blood with. And we could just hang out and talk. So I think it's going to be a good conversation. All right. So real quick, I'm just going to run and use the restroom. I'll be right back. Then I'll come on camera and we will begin. I'll be right back. Alrighty, everybody, hold on. Get swapped over here. I want to see how this looks. Honestly, choppy. I don't know why. All right, let's start recording briefly here. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna hang out for like 20 minutes or so. Try to get any technical difficulties worked out before we start, and then we're gonna start. Okay. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Level 1 podcast. Today is Thursday, the 26th of September, 2024. I am coming to you live through Discord. Yes, through Discord. I am not actually recording this on my local capture PC. I'm actually broadcasting this over here through my gaming PC through Discord, and I'm capturing that feed on my PC, which is why I am only in 720p and I'm kind of a choppy frame rate. So I looked into this because we've been trying to figure this out, right? We've been talking about this recently. Here, I can actually blow myself up like temporarily. Here we go. So we've been trying to figure this out. Like, what is up with Discord? How does it work exactly? Because I want to be great quality, right? Like, I want to be full screen 1080p when I do interviews. And I looked into it and finally figured all this out. Wait till you hear the details of this, okay? So in order to use Discord at like a professional quality, like 1080p 60 frames per second, number one, you have to have your own server. You can't just be like willy-nilly doing video calls. It won't work. You actually have to have your own server set up in Discord. That's number one. Number two, you have to boost that server with what they call like turbo boosts or something kind of boost. I forget exactly what they're called. But you need to boost your own server like 3 or 4 times, which costs money. And once you've done that, then it enables other qualities. All right. So for example, it's called nitro boosting. So you have to nitro boost your server a bunch of times. Okay. Once you nitro burst, I can't even say it. Nitro burst, nitro boost. It sounds so silly. It sounds like a kid's thing, but it's like, this is supposed to be like professional for business. It's like nitro boosting. It sounds like blast processing for the Genesis or something. But what happens is after you nitro boost your server several times, I think it's like 3 or 4 times, then you enable new features such as 1080p and 60 frames per second video. Well, I don't have my own serious server. Like, I have a server just for my moderators, but I'm not going to be boosting that server a million times because I don't want people coming onto the moderator server to do interviews. You know, then they're going to be on the moderator server. They can see stuff. But I don't want that. So FYI, I'm in the process of actually setting up like a professional Discord server. So moving forward, when I do these interviews, it will not be this choppy quality. Like, this is like, I would argue this is sub 30 frames per second. And I don't know why, because it should be 30 frames per second, 720p, yet it looks choppy, does it not? Like, look at this. It's totally choppy. And that's not my capture PC. That's actually what it looks like on my gaming PC right now. So I have no idea why it looks like this. That's just, I guess, default Discord quality. So when I do these interviews and Discord calls, this is essentially what it's going to look like. I would even argue, so yesterday, I was on the Cultaholic show for their show, Desert Island Graphs. I think this actually looked better on their show, and we used Zoom, it's called. Yeah, I think that was actually better. So I'm in the process of having this worked on where it's going to be a Discord server so I can actually have guests on in high quality, 1080p, 60 frames per second. I'll look good. If their camera is good, it'll have that capability. And I'll work on that. I'll let you know. Because right now, like, this is okay. But if I'm going to be doing interviews on the regular, which I'd like to do, I'd like to have guests on this show, you know, at a minimum, maybe like once a month. That would be neat to have a guest on the show once a month. You know, lined up, I have some people who are interested. As I told you guys, both Wings of Redemption and Boogie are interested on coming on after they go through this camping trip they're about to do on their Lolcow live show. And I also have 1 or 2 other guests lined up. I'm just trying to basically schedule it in, but also not have my every week an interview. So it's going to be, you know, I'm trying to figure it all out. But yeah, since those are coming up, obviously I want to have good quality. I am disappointed that it kind of looks like this. It looks kind of choppy, right? So it is what it is. This is what we're doing for now. But anyway, does it look good? Is it okay for you guys? It looks good. It sounds all right. Because what's going to happen is when Tolomeo comes on, I'm going to adjust the video to fit the frame. See, I just blew this up. I stretched it out. I'm going to try to make it so that we're both in frame, but he's not going to have video. It's going to be audio only on his end. He's not a video streamer. When he streams, it's just his voice. So, it'll be me and then kind of like a, his like thumbnail or whatever that'll be on the screen, which is fine. But just so you know, the reason I like doing it this way, number one, basically the calls going through here on my gaming PC, but the capturing and streaming's happening over here on my streaming PC. It's not like overloading. When I was trying to do stuff with the Kino Casino guys, it was overloading, and basically we were having all these problems where it was chopping up and freezing up. It shouldn't do that now, because now it's two separate systems. It's the same thing that I do when I play games now. My gaming PC runs the game. My capture PC captures and streams. It's not doing it all on one, thing. So because of that, it makes it, smoother. So hopefully this will work out. Long term, this will be even better, I think. Let me test something. Okay, good. I disabled the gesture controls on my camera. So yesterday, I was on the show, the Cultaholic show. I didn't disable the gesture controls because I just installed the camera on the gaming PC, but I hadn't tested it. And I'm on the show talking to the guy, and, I talk with my hands. And as I'm doing this, the camera is enabling and starting to move around. I was like, oh, shit. Now, in the middle of this interview, this is happening. How am I gonna fix this? And I really couldn't. I just basically stopped, like moving my hands around, so it wouldn't be like a disaster. So anyway, what we're gonna have an interview here with Tolomeo in a second. It's gonna last probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. It really depends on how the conversation goes, what kind of topics we get into. This is a very casual interview. Oh, by the way, hold on one second. I gotta close my curtains a little bit because the sun is hitting my PC. That's not good. Gotta keep my eyes on that because, again, this is my new setup. I have new curtains in my office. I'm trying to get everything like working, and so basically, so it's going to be a work in progress for a while. Now I have all these different things going on, and everything looks different. Everything's different. I know people are saying the frame looks too dark. That's because we have sunlight coming in the window right now. I have sunlight coming in, so what I can do is probably adjust the frame to be brighter. See that? There we go. Because now it needs to be brighter to be able to be seen on the camera. Because I have the sun coming into the office to give me some, fresh air. There we go. And if I need to adjust it again, I will. I might actually have to get up and adjust my curtain because if that sun hits my PC, that's not what I want. You can't have sunlight direct on a PC. But I need to have the curtains open to have some air in here. If I don't, it's going to be like a hot box. I'm going to be sweating bullets, and that's not comfortable. Oh, I know, because I did that 2 days earlier this week, Monday and Tuesday, and that was not good. That was very, very bad. Okay. So, all right. So how's this going to go down? Well, here's what's going to happen. Number one, as you know, when I have guests on the Level 1 podcast, I do not have any kind of contribution shout-outs. I don't have any pop-ups on the screen. All that stuff is disabled. In fact, I'm double-checking right now. We do have a leaderboard right now, but that's just in case you guys contribute in the next 10 minutes. Like, literally, if you contribute in the next 10 minutes, I'll shout you out. I'll get you on the leaderboard. But outside of that, no shout-outs, nothing like that. Because once I have a guest on my show, they get my undivided attention. They're giving us their attention to come on the show and to talk with us, so that we have to give them the respect that they deserve for giving us their time, right? So that's what we're doing here. I'm not going to be distracted. I'm not going to be talking with you guys during this interview. It's just going to be me talking with Tolo and going back and forth and shooting the shit and talking about various topics and the like, and it should be good, I think. I think it's going to be a good interview. Something very different from what I've done up to now. Both the Keemstar and the Craig interviews were very kind of confrontational because I had kind of bad blood with them. And then the interview with June the King wasn't confrontational, but I mean, he had just come off of doing a 4-hour documentary about me that exposed all the bad things about me. It was kind of an interesting situation. In this situation, I have absolutely no bad blood whatsoever with Tolo. We were cool years ago, and then basically we had to cut off our, I don't even know what you call it, because it wasn't really a full friendship or whatever, but, you know, us kind of being, like, cool with each other, we had to cut that off. We're going to talk about that today. Like, what happened there, why all of a sudden we just stopped, you know, going on each other's streams and communicating and stuff like that. So, this should be fun. And we're probably going to talk not just about us, you know, our relationship from years ago, but I want to talk to him about gaming in general, what his philosophy is as a streamer, how he chooses the games that he plays, and because he plays a ton of indie games and stuff. And I'm always fascinated, like, how does he find out about these games, and how does he choose which ones he wants to play? How does he find that ones are more successful? Does he play a game only once sometimes and drop it, or does he, like, always go back, you know? I'm curious. This is something that I want to branch out and start to do more of, because I have a gaming PC now that can play all this stuff. I never had that before, so I'm now becoming, like, the realm of the PC gamer, and I could probably get some good advice from this guy. To be honest, he actually gave me a lot of advice, and or just by watching him stream, I learned a lot about being an interactive streamer 7 years ago. So we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. I think that'll be a neat conversation. So anyway, this is going to be a fun interview. Like I said, about an hour and a half tops, because I told him that'll be the longest we would go. But, you know, at least an hour, and we'll see how it goes. You know, read the room, how the conversation's going. There will not be shout outs or interaction with you guys during that time, but once the interview's over, then we'll probably do a brief decompression, maybe like 20, 30 minutes, just to talk about how it went and what you guys thought. And shout outs, because here's the deal. This is my business today. You know, even though it's an interview, it's still my regular stream, as if I was doing a regular podcast or whatever. So please support it if you like it. If you like this content, you like the fact that I'm branching out, I'm doing different things. It's not just me sitting here talking to you every day. We're having guests on now. Please support the content. I promise you, I will shout out all of the contributions that come in after the interview is over. And then we'll get the leaderboards updated and all of that. If you didn't notice, we changed yet again the goals. The way the goals are going to work, I am counting super chats, super stickers, and tips towards this goal per stream, but I reduced it to 150. We're not going to do the 200. People were basically like, yeah, it's a little bit too much to ask. I was like, you know, I'm okay right now. I'm in a good position where I have some flexibility because I had a really good month. I'm not desperate to have all tips every stream. It's not a big deal. We can break out this kind of goal between super chats and tips. That's fine. Let's just do that. So there you go. So if you contribute today, I will shout you out. I have a tip. I will shout that out in a second. I'll update the leaderboard, but it's all going to come after Tolo is on. In fact, as soon as we do shout outs here, I'm just going to do this. And then we're just going to do the show like this. And then after Tolo's gone, then we'll do our little decompression. I'll do shout outs for those who contributed and do that. Okay. And go from there. You guys are all late. People are coming late and asking, why does the camera look like this? I literally just explained. This is through Discord. This is not me doing direct to my capture PC. This is going through Discord now, and that's why it looks like this, but I'm working on getting a server set up where I can boost this server and do 1080p 60 frames per second. I can't do that right now with Discord. We have to actually have a whole private server created and set up to do it. Okay? Cool. So anyway, so after the Tolo interview, after the decompression, then we're going to play Metaphor all day long. Metaphor is it ReFantasio, I think? Actually has a awesome demo that came out. 5 hours. It's a 5-hour long gameplay demo. How crazy is that? That's like wild that they made a demo that long. And it's basically the first 5 hours of the game, and once you're through it, it saves your progress, and that carries over into the main game when you play it. So this is the perfect opportunity for us to try out the game, to see if it's any good, right? And if we like it, to decide if I'm going to play it in October or not. Because this is a big question mark right now, is should I play Metaphor or not? And this will be a great opportunity all day for us to try it out and see what we want to do with the game, if it should be in the schedule or not. Okay? Now, I just got asked, so I'm definitely not playing Zelda. Right now, I can't play anything. I'm still in the middle of games. I still have to finish Astrobot. I still have to finish the casting of Frank Stone. I have to beat those games before I take on any other games. And by the way, I know we haven't talked about this yet. Next week is a very short streaming week for me. Get this. I'm only here Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday's my next day off. Again, this is my wife's work schedule being so weird and all over the place. We have to do it that way because we have appointments lined up for Wednesday. So I have a short streaming week. My goal in this 4-day streaming week will be to wrap up both Astrobot and the casting of Frank Stone. I hope we can beat them both. And then once both those are done, then we can decide what's next. Is it going to be Dead Rising Remastered? Is it going to be the Zelda game? Is it going to be something else? I don't know. The next major game is October 8th, and that's Silent Hill 2 Remake, which everyone wants to see me play, and I cannot wait to play. Okay, so that's coming, but we're not there yet. Okay, shout-outs. Let's start. The first contribution of the day is a $10 tip. And it says, Redemption Love. I don't know what that means, except maybe that's the name you want to go by. There you go. All right, thank you for a $10 tip, Redemption Love. Just go on the leaderboard. Oh, that's right. I'm not playing animations. It wouldn't work anyway. I have them disabled. I was like, wait a minute. I was going to play the animation, but there is none. So, guys, if you are enjoying the content today, if you like the fact that I'm branching out and doing different kinds of content, I'm having guests on the show from all over the internet, please support the channel today by liking the stream. All right, that's number one. Liking this stream will help a lot during the interview. And please support in some way. Super chats, super stickers, memberships, gifted memberships, or tips are all greatly appreciated. There will not be pop-ups while I'm talking to Tolo, but they will resume after the fact, and we'll do shout-outs after that and all of that, okay? Are we good? Do we have any final questions or anything before I do the final setup when we get Tolo on here? Does anyone have any questions or anything, any concerns? Or are we good to go? And it's going to be tricky. I'm going to have to keep an eye on the sun to make sure that it doesn't hit the PC. Right now, the sun is moving because it's the afternoon. So when the sun starts to hit the PC, I have to totally move my curtains around here. This is going to be silly. In fact, hold on a second. Before we do this, hold on. What I did is I just opened the other side of the curtains, and I'm hoping by do that, now there's going to be a shadow. There's nothing we can do about that. Hopefully by having the other side of the curtains open, now the sun will not hit my PC because I don't want it to hit the PC and screw it up. You know, this is just, it's a pain in the butt trying to figure all this out right now, this whole new setup and everything. And by the way, I'm well aware, guys, I'm now way behind on game news. It just so happens that the 2 days that I can't do a regular podcast, there's been an insane overloading of game news. We got all the things that happened at the Sony State of Play. Today is Tokyo Game Show, and all this news is coming out, and I don't have time to cover it because I'm not doing a regular podcast. So when I come back on Saturday, we will be doing all regular game news. So the whole podcast on Saturday will likely be me maybe watching, game trailers. That'd be cool. Watching game trailers, reacting to game trailers, that kind of stuff. That's going to be like my whole Saturday. Because remember, I'm not here tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off. I've been streaming for 8 straight days. Okay? All right. Are we good to go? I think we're good. And what I will do here, I'm just going to turn the camera off temporarily so I'll stop recording with this video. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, yeah. Let's turn off the leaderboard like I said I would. That way we're not distracted. And then what I'll do is I'll get everything set up here. I'm working on Discord. And we are going to begin. We're going to get Tolo on here. All right? All right. So, thank you guys for chilling for a little bit while I got set up. Let's end this video and let's get Tolo on here. Cool. All right. So, there we go. I got to do that. I got to end this. Disconnect. Okay. Did that. And do this here. And I think I got to do this from Inslet, if I remember correctly. Shoot. Okay, hold on. I want to go to my friends list. There, that's how I do it. Okay. All right, real fast. I'll be right back and then we'll begin. Okay, just figured I should probably take a last minute leak before we begin, don't you think? All right, let me get him on here. And hold on, because I have to invite him, but then I immediately have to jump over with my microphone here. My setup's very weird. But it will get better in time. Let me now make this normal size. It's on the screen. Hopefully this looks good. We're about to find out. All right, let's see what happens here. And the microphone is on. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see if this works.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but you are very low. So hold on one second. Let's do some adjustments here. And likely I have to adjust your volume level in my setup. So let's see. Here we go. User volume. All the way up. Let's see how that sounds now. Hello, sir.
How about now?
That is much, much, much better. Excellent.
Awesome.
All right. Let's just get it actually looking centered here. Oops, on my stream, because I am tiny on the stream. And I don't think there's a way to have us both look equal because you don't have a camera, so I think they do one or the other. If I click on that... Oh, wait. Well, it's going to say just no signal, so I guess I should just go full screen with me. Okay. I think we're good to go. Everyone can hear us, by the way, but we haven't really begun yet.
Alrighty.
I want to figure out how to get this to look a little better on my setup, and then we will begin. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry if there's any yodeling dogs in the background. They get feisty during the daytime, so...
Oh, your dogs are awesome, man. I remember seeing your dogs all the time on stream. So cute. I love
No,
that.
they're not. They're motherfuckers, dude. Don't ever get dogs. There's too many of them. Live in a fucking zoo.
All right, so for the record, we're now live, and I'm going to start recording, and we will begin.
Awesome.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us on a special edition of the Level 1 podcast. Today I have a guest. It is the internet streamer, gamer, and Twitch content creator, Tolomeo. Is it Tolomeo or Tolomeo? I always forget how to pronounce it.
It's Tolomeo.
Tolomeo.
My Discord's been laughing at you because you mispronounce it every time.
I do. You're absolutely right. I'm a buffoon. Tolomeo. And
Yeah.
What does that mean? Because I was trying to like find maybe like a thumbnail from your channel to put up during this, and I searched for it on Google, and all I could get was a bunch of lamps. I was like, what the hell is this?
Just a knockoff brand Pixar lamp. I stole it from a video game on the original Xbox. It was a mech game called Phantom Crash, and there was a robot called the Tolomeo. I'm not very creative, so not an exciting story whatsoever.
Cool. Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Your time is valuable, and I've told my audience when I have guests on the show, there's no pop-ups on my channel. I'm not going to be doing shout-outs. I'm not going to be, taking questions. It's just going to be the two of us talking about various things, because just so you know, Tolo, you're basically like the first casual guest that I've had on the show. I've been doing interviews now
What's that supposed to mean?
What I mean is we don't have like any like set agenda. We don't have bad blood. You know what I mean? Like, we're just here to kind of chill and talk. I mean, yeah, we have a little bit of a history that I'd like to touch upon, from years ago. But outside of that, we're just two guys who love games, who stream and have a good time with it. And I think it's going to be a more casual conversation than the other interviews that I've done up to now.
Okay. I don't know. I thought you were calling me a casual in terms of like Dark Souls. I was about to start fighting, dude. This motherfucker.
No, dude, you are. Well, first of all, just so everyone knows the background here, okay? I first learned of Tolo when in 2017, there was a big shift in content creation because YouTube had its adpocalypse, right? And so I had been primarily like just making on-demand videos for my living, but all of a sudden, all of the ad revenue went away. And so I was like struggling. I was like, what am I going to do? So I decided that I was going to become a full-time streamer. And I was streaming on Twitch at the time, and I actually can't exactly remember, Tolo, like the first time that I saw your stream. I don't think you would come on my stream. I think like it had just been like a random recommended stream for me. How Twitch sometimes will just say, hey, watch these other guys or whatever.
I mean, I remember exactly what happened if you want me to tell it.
Yeah, go for it, because I don't remember the original story.
All right. So back then, 2017, I was the worst kind of virgin. I still am, but I was back then too. I only played Dark Souls every fucking day. And you know DSP, you know, This Is How You Don't Play Dark Souls 2. I
Right.
knew about you because I would watch This Is How You Don't Play, and I thought you getting fucked up in Dark Souls 2 was the funniest shit ever. Now, in a different time, you would consider me a detractor for that, but I found those videos hilarious. It had never crossed the threshold from, like, actually having a personal disdain towards you. But I
Right.
watched the shit out of those. My
Right.
2 favorite streamers at the time were you and Man vs. Game, primarily for the same reason. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I'm not familiar with that person.
He streamed like 1,000,000 hours, and he took speed to stream like 30 hours, which I think you should do. It would be funny. I wanna see
Wow.
that.
I'd probably
And
die.
I think you'd be fine. But anyways, so I had auto host on, and sorry if I go on forever.
No,
Streamers are
go
all
for it.
fucking
I want to
motor
hear. I
mouths.
don't remember this at all, so I'll go for it, man.
So you were a joke in Dark Souls, straight up. Like, everyone laughed at your ability to play those games. I'm not
Fair
going to
enough.
sugarcoat it. It was funny. I can say I didn't have any personal grudge against you, but a lot of people did, and so I hosted only 2 people with auto host. I didn't actively send all of my people there, but after my stream ended, I had 2 people on auto host. Um, you and a woman named Velvet Seven. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
I think you'd really like her. I think you would. She's I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. But
Okay.
it was kind of a joke. And then one day I was streaming and it's like Dark Side Phil is auto hosting you. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, well, I didn't really expect that sort of reaction. Then you came into my chat and you started talking, and I didn't know what to do because I made fun of you regularly. My favorite was the From Software. That's one of my favorites from you. And it was weird because you came in and you were polite, you were cordial, you were nice, and it's a side that I hadn't seen when you were playing like Castlevania Lords of Shadow, like throwing controllers against the wall. It was humanizing, right?
Right.
So it was strange. And I told you straight up the first thing I said to you, and I fully expected you to just leave after I said it, is I watch This Is How You Don't Play. I think it's funny. Like, I hosted you, and it's just, I didn't want you to get any misunderstandings as to what was going on, right?
Right. Right.
And then you'd come into chat and you got along pretty well. It was weird because I would say things like, DSP, you should let me coach you into doing a Bloodborne level 4 run. It would be funny. And you would always swerve me every time. You never committed, but you would be in chat joking all the time. And it was just strange. I don't know. That's how it started from my perspective.
Gotcha. I didn't remember that at all. I remember all the auto hosting stuff that happened on Twitch, but I didn't remember, exactly how it went down. And exactly what you're saying is basically what's been happening recently to me in the last couple of months is that people always hear or see the worst of me from either This Is How You Don't Play, or now I hate to say it, it's my detractors now are just absolutely ridiculous. They're A-loggers. They literally just sit there and make the worst compilations that aren't even true. They're completely out of context. They just do whatever they can to make me look like an asshole. Okay.
Sometimes
So
you gotta stop. There are some of them that are like me. Like, you would consider me a detractor in a certain sense because I watch those videos. Maybe not
no,
now, but
no,
there.
not anymore. See, you're absolutely right. This is what's happened is in the last 7 years, dude, I have mellowed out. I don't give a shit what people watch. You can make fun of me as much as you want because I've had the worst of it. I've had way worse than that. I got people now who are stalking my family members. I've got people who are, doing crazy shit that you should never do to anyone who's a content creator. And it's like, why would I care if you watched a video that made fun of how bad I am at Dark Souls? I think it's funny. I've actually reacted to some This Is How You Don't Plays myself and laughed my ass off because they are funny. So I don't think you're a detractor at all because you watch that stuff. The vast majority of people who come and watch me now are people who have seen negative stuff about me and they want to come see the raw content, and then they realize, hey, just like you found out, Phil's actually kind of a chill guy. He's not really, over the top angry
Sometimes.
all the time. Well,
Sometimes.
sometimes, exactly.
Not when you play fighting games. You're not very chill when you play fighting
Oh, I
games.
know. When I play
That's like the
fighting
last
games,
vestige of that old rage.
yeah, and you know what? That's part of the reason why I do keep it in the rotation, because a lot of people like to see the old Phil come out, and that's really when it comes out. Outside of that, much other stuff I've really chilled out over the years. All right, so that's great. And what I think we should do, we could transition into kind of
Really quick.
talking about our history a little bit, how we started to kind of, talk to each other, hang out on each other's streams, and what ended up happening eventually, because like most things, over the years, people spin the story, or they come from a different perspective. And I just kind of wanted to have the conversation with you to clear the air about what had happened back in, like, I think it was like 2017. I can't remember if even we had continued to like have interactions in 2018.
It was around there.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I thought you were a really cool guy, right? Like I
Can
started
I interrupt
watching.
you really quickly?
Oh, what's
I
that?
just want
Okay,
to
go
say
ahead.
I want to say one thing before we continue on, because
Sure.
I personally I think that you paint the detractors with too broad of a brush. They're
Hmm.
absolutely the fucking weirdos for sure. But I mean, both times I've interacted with you, some of them came into my chat last night, and initially there was a little bit of acrimony, but there you
Hmm.
talk to them, and it's mostly fine. I think a big problem for you is that you never leaned into the criticism. The more you pushed against them, the worse and worse they became. And I'm personally of the opinion that if you had just learn to laugh at yourself a little
Yep.
earlier on, then it would never have gotten this bad, in my opinion, my
Yeah.
unsolicited opinion towards you. But every time you paint all of the people who have criticism of you as like this monolith of detractors who are all stalking your family, you're going to make it worse every single time you say that.
Yep. And you're right. And just for the record, now when I say detractors, I don't mean people who don't like me. I mean people who stalk me. That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
Okay.
I don't care about the criticism anymore. I'm open to it. I mean, I just reacted to a 4-hour documentary about myself that kind of exposed all the messed up stuff I've done over the years, and I agree with all of it. Like I am in the position I'm in now because originally when This Is How You Don't Play started, I reacted in the stupidest way. I was so angry at everyone. I was like, "Oh, how dare you use my content without my permission? You're stealing, you're breaking the law." You're right. I should have leaned into it. I should have rolled with it. Hell, I should have made my own compilations and then made fun of myself. And I don't think that it ever would have gotten to the level that it did. But because I was so anti-criticism, right? Anyone who criticized me was the enemy, right? So many people realize, well, wait a minute, it makes him act angry. Then we can make more content out of it. Now we can make more videos. And it just kept rolling and rolling and kept escalating and escalating to the point where it comes to today. So
Yeah.
no, I'm well aware that I am, when I
Would
say detractors, absolutely not. I don't mean people who criticize me or laugh at me or make fun of me. People are welcome to do that. I do it myself now. I've changed for the better in that regard. But when I say
okay.
detractors, I mean the extreme cases.
All right. Would you say the only thing you've leaned into is banning people then? You like
What
the
do you
lean
mean
in
by that?
ban? Your
Oh, the
lean in
lean in
ban
manual
thing.
van.
Yeah, yeah. That's around when I stopped watching your streams. Is back then. I remember you getting pissed at people making fun of the lean in ban and the frogs. For some reason, you really didn't like the frogs
Oh yeah.
at the time.
And just so you know, after that, basically I adopted all of it. I made a lean in manual ban emote. We had frog emotes. We basically started celebrating the memes rather than being anti-meme. And it worked for a pretty long time, to the fact where now, once you lean into the memes, they kind of lose their power as a negative reinforcement, and then people forget about them. So now, like, no one talks about the frog meme. No one in my chat even really remembers what you're talking about with the frog meme, because it was like, from a past
Yeah, I
time,
mean, they must be really fucking confused on who I am because it's been 100 years. Um, I mean, that's fine. I just think that it's been a consistent problem is just painting too broad a brush with people.
I completely agree with you these days. You're right. I was an asshole back in the day. I thought my shit didn't stink. I thought, hey, I'm the content creator. I'm the big shot streamer. How dare you criticize me and say I'm doing something wrong? And that was the absolute wrong way to take it. And I've learned over the years to mellow out and have a different attitude. And I appreciate now when people call me out for it, because sometimes I don't realize what's going on, and then when people call me out for it, I'm like, oh, you're right. I'm making a mistake. This is stupid. I need to change my attitude. And for the most part, people say that I have mellowed out a lot, and that's a good thing, obviously. So,
Mm,
no, go ahead.
I don't know. I just miss the days when you would sing about Sonic and bestiality. I miss the singing feel.
Dude, I would love to play that on the stream. I mean, it's been such a change. Culture in general in the last decade. It's like you can't even have that on YouTube anymore. People will flag your channel for having that video. It's like, what the hell? And It's crazy, you know, how things have changed and the things you said and did 10 years ago. You know, now if you said it, you'd be immediately canceled and everyone just railroads you off the internet. Um,
Maybe. I think people over exaggerate I mean, like, look at you. You've been through a billion controversies and you're still here. So I think people tend to overestimate how effective canceling is.
that is very true. I've been can't try. Well, people have attempted to cancel me so many times over the years for various different things. I mean, and yeah, to some extent it's worked. Like, for example, you know, the reason I'm not on Twitch right now is because my detractors, I don't know if you know this, Tolo, back in 2021, my detractors made like a mega cut of all the things that I used to say and do in like 2010. All right. So we're talking like 11 years prior. You know, a joke about Nazis that's really bad and I never should have made. And this joke about some woman and then this joke about certain race. Right. And they made this super cut of content that they thought was offensive. And they sent it to Twitch and said, you got this guy in their partner program. Do you really want this kind of person in there? And Twitch removed me from their partner program, citing that I'm using hateful speech. I'm like, the shit that you're talking about happened 11 years ago. Like, how are you going to cancel me now for stuff that I don't do? Right. So to some extent, it does hurt me. But for the most part, I've been through the ringer for so long that, you know, people know who I am. They know, you know, they know what to expect. And I don't think that I'm ever going to be canceled. Even if I get thrown off a site, there's a million other places I can go and my viewers follow me. So I'm not really too concerned about that kind of shit.
Okay. Correct me if I'm misunderstanding this, but wasn't there a ban before that one where you made fun of a guy for having blue hair or something? Like you clicked on his Twitch profile and ridiculed his appearance?
Oh yeah, there was a few. Twitch is so weird, and I got to give you credit, man, for the fact that you still stream there because they're so weird with the way that they do business. Like I remember that was one case where I'm just on my stream, and there's a guy who's a troll. He's an outright troll. He's making fun of me. He's
Sure.
insulting me. So I clap back at him, and I just happened to look at his avatar, and he has blue hair, and I'm like, dude, you and your stupid, probably I probably said like you look like a Muppet or something like that, right? You look like a Muppet with your colored hair, or whatever. And they actually just said, oh, this is strike one against your channel. How dare you like insult someone's physical appearance on your stream? I'm like, how do you even know that's them? It's just an avatar. You know, I don't even know that that's really the person. I'm just making a stupid comment because they insulted me first. But to Twitch, that's like, oh God, you can't do that. The thing that really got me about Twitch, they don't sometimes would like say I had done stuff wrong and apparently hit me with like a strike, but they didn't tell me. So, like for example, I remember I was doing a Christmas marathon and I was like really drunk, like buzzed, like really buzzed, not drunk, but like I drank a lot. And I was like impersonating a bad streamer. And I accidentally said like the
Uh-oh.
F word or something, right? While I'm buzzed. And immediately I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I was trying to impersonate someone who does the wrong thing, right? So months pass. And then all of a sudden, my channel gets temporarily suspended for like a day. And I contacted my Twitch partner manager at the time. And I said, what happened? Why am I suspended? He goes, oh, well, this is like strike two. I said, strike two for what? Oh, well, back in December, you said this. I said, you didn't even tell me about it. You didn't give me a strike. Like, you didn't even tell me I had a strike. Like, where do I see this shit? And the guy had nothing to say. He's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if I told you or not. You had it anyway. Like, what?
Well, to be fair, you know that that word's verboten on Twitch. Like you said it, even
Right.
if it was a mistake, you did it. You
Right.
know?
And for me, the whole air of unprofessionalism of Twitch and how it's run, like on YouTube, when I get a strike, I know I got the strike. They email me about it. My channel has a giant pop up on it that says, this has happened. Now you must, change your behavior. On Twitch, you don't even know what the hell's going on. And all of a sudden, they'll just turn your stream off. Like, what's going on? And then they say, oh, you said a slur during your stream. No, I didn't. Appeal. And then they just turn my stream back on 3 hours later because I never did it. Like, they just made it up. So that's one of the reasons I left. I couldn't take them being so unprofessional. I want a place where if you're going to hold me accountable, fine. I want to know what I'm doing wrong and improve. You got to give me a chance. Like, you got to tell me what's happening, not just take me out of the partner program with no warning, no chance to like, improve myself or be better. Just spend my channel on a whim. Don't tell me I have strikes against. I was like, enough is it. This is a business for me. This is my living. I got to go somewhere where they're gonna take it more seriously, and that's when I've been at YouTube the last 3.5 years, and I have not had any of those kind of problems streaming over here.
So did you leave or did you get banned?
I left. I was removed from the partner program in 2021. They cited hate speech. And I said, what hate speech? I want you to tell me. They refused. They said, we don't have to tell you anything. But in a year, you can apply to get your partnership back. And I was like, what's the point of me reapplying when you won't tell me what I did wrong to begin with? I have no clue what you're even talking about. Come to find out, then I found out, of course, doing research, that it was my detractors who had done this supercut. Again, this was like 2010, 2011 shit that I had said and done. And they sent it to Twitch and campaigned to get me out of the partner program, so they threw me out. I still streamed on Twitch for about a month and a half after having lost my partnership. But I couldn't, basically, I was making a living just on like tips because, you know, I couldn't get bits, I couldn't get subs. And I was trying to get people to just basically tip and still make a living doing it. But where the straw that broke the camel's back was I was streaming Returnal. And during Returnal, you know, that's a very fast-paced game. Like, a million shit on a screen. Like, things are flying at you all over the place. Very tough game. And I got tongue-tied. I was, like, saying something, and I was reading something off the screen, but I was also saying something else, and I combined, like, two words together, and it was like a jumble. And my detractors, again, this is not critics of me. This is my actual detractors who wish me harm. False reported me to Twitch saying that I had said the N-word. I was like, what? I never did. You can replay the clip. I definitely didn't say it. It was just me being tongue-tied, like saying two words together that ended with, like, you know, grr at the end of it or something like that. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, he said the N-word. And they actually suspended me. They suspended my channel for that. And I was like, what the fuck? So I appealed it, and later that day they removed the suspension. But I was like, there is absolutely no way I'm going to continue to work on this site if they're going to just suspend me on a whim for something I literally didn't do. So that's why I've been gone since then. I actively chose to leave. I could reapply partnership, but I don't want to, man. I don't want to
I
deal
don't
with them.
have a horse in the race. But do you think you would have gotten removed from the partner program if it wasn't for the hair incident and the saying the slur incident? Because I feel like from Twitch's perspective, you got to think, okay, well, he
Mhm.
says he changed, but look at these two things that happened recently. Like what, within the last year and a half, 2 years? I don't know the time frame.
I
But
actually don't remember either. Right.
so, you know, it's you got to accept some culpability for that, right?
Listen, I will openly admit that I'm not a perfect dude, and I said and
None
done
of
things that
us
I shouldn't have
are.
done, you know. But again, for me, it's the air of not being professional about it. If they were transparent with me and were like, okay, listen, this happened, you got to strike. This happened, you got to strike. You got to be careful. But they don't do that. They'll just all of a
Dude,
sudden you'll just have your
you're
stream
talking
turned
about a
off.
company. I don't know if you ever saw this, but it's a company where they had like this Twitch ambassador program where they had like an otherkin who thought, I think she was a deer and would do like deer role play on the stream, where she'd eat grass and say that her haters are grass and she's going to eat them. So, I mean, yeah, Twitch is confusing sometimes, but I think that in that case you're mentioning, I think you would have been fine if you didn't do those two things. Because, like, yeah, I get being pressed and someone is trolling you and annoying you, but if you're going and insulting their physical appearance, you're I don't I don't know, man.
I
I
mean, fair
think
enough. Fair enough. You know, if that's your perspective, that's cool. You know, for me, I in truth, now that I'm on YouTube, I can't even see people's avatars anymore. I couldn't insult someone if I wanted to because the avatars on YouTube are tiny and they're all people use like anime shit anyway all the time. So I
do you want to insult someone right now?
sure, let's see. Blastoise, that avatar's hideous. How dare
No,
you?
no, a real insult. Come on. You got better than that. You were the king of hate. Come on.
Anyway, what I'd like to do, I'd like to go back to
Yeah,
2017 when kind of
sure.
we had our interactions and talk a little bit about how we were going back and forth there. First of
Mhm.
all, I wanna say this wholeheartedly. I mean this, dude. I'm really sorry that because we had interactions in 2017, anything negative that might have happened to you or your streams or anything like that, because I don't actually know the extent of, you know, what happened with my haters or if they actually came over and harassed you or harassed your community or kind of like derailed your streams. But I just want you to know I'm really sorry for anything like that that happened. And it was obviously never my intention with us either talking or whatever that would happen. I never thought in my wildest dreams that they would come and kind of be like a negative thing for you.
Are you
I
sure
feel really
about
bad
that?
about it.
I mean, you
Go
got
ahead.
to know that when you mention people, they're gonna get some they're gonna get some blowback for interacting with you. You know that.
Now, see, now I do. But here's the change is that back then, I was mostly an isolated content creator. Like I said, in 2017, that's when the adpocalypse happened on YouTube. And I was leaning into now being a live streamer. And when you're a live streamer, now you have a social interaction with your audience, but you're also looking to possibly have interactions with other content creators, streamers, collabs. And basically, that's kind of, you were the first person who we kind of had that because of the auto hosting or whatever. And I didn't at that time. Quite frankly, I had no clue that that was going to happen to you. And when it happened, I felt so bad because I was like, dude, now, and basically what happened was I went into like a turtle shell. Like I basically said, well, I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to talk to nobody. I'm not going to collab with anyone. I'm just going to do my own shit because I don't want other people now to get harassed or whatever. And now I know that. Now I will know that. And anyone who's going to do anything with me needs to know that up front too, that I've got these people who are stalking me and man, they're going to come after you if you have any kind of positive interaction with me. But you were really the first person who got that out of nowhere. And I am sorry because I
Well,
did not know that would happen to you.
we can talk about that. So one of the things for me is you remember when we had like a half-hearted idea, oh, we're gonna play Monster Hunter or whatever, right?
Sure.
Back in the
Yeah.
day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never expected you to commit to that for even a minute. I don't know what I would have done if you showed up and you're like, "Yeah, let's play Monster Hunter," because you, you never commit to anything like that ever. You don't interact with other people. So for me, it was just kind of like, okay, well, he's not gonna do it. I was really surprised when you even played the demo for that game.
Right.
But the reason why I wanted to stop having any sort of associating with you, a lot of people are under the impression that you have me here to launder your image, to make it seem like
Wow.
that's what I was being told last night. And people say what they're going to say, but one thing is with the Monster Hunter World thing, a lot of the acrimony I was receiving from your side of things is because you were apparently saying Tolomeo doesn't like this game. I'm not playing it because even Tolomeo doesn't think it's good. And so you should have known better than to say stuff like that because what do you think's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And granted, to be fair to you, I didn't bring this up when I told you that because I thought you were going to go and say blame it on the detractors, and then uh,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't trust you to keep it on the down low, right? But the reason was because you said that people were coming in saying that you said the reason you were not playing Monster Hunter World was because of me. And I'm like, okay, normally in a normal relationship with another person, that's not the end of the world, but I felt you should have more sense because you know how people are going to react when you say
Right.
things like that about other people. Does that
You're
make
right.
sense?
Oh no, that totally makes sense. Um, that is something that sadly in my past I had a big problem with is even though like I'm trying to remember because obviously now it's like 7 years ago and I'm trying to actually remember from my perspective why I thought that you didn't like Monster Hunter World. I can't remember if I saw you stream it or if you had just said that, but it's like in reality, like you saw, I played the demo. And the reason that I didn't play it is because when I streamed the demo, my viewers hated it. They were like,
That's because you were playing with randoms from your chat, dude. Like they
well,
were
yeah,
like,
right.
oh man, oh,
Well,
that was
and
mm,
they even knew more than me. Like I didn't know anything about Monster Hunter. I was just trying to learn it on the fly. The only time I had played Monster Hunter before then was like one of the 3DS ones, and it was playing by myself, so I really didn't know what the hell I was doing then either. Um, but you're right. I shouldn't have. I don't distinctly remember how I said it. I remember saying it. Now that you're bringing this up, I totally remember that I'd said that. And more than likely, you're right. It was me kind of justifying not playing the game and saying, well, not only did you guys not like it in the demo, but also Tolomeo doesn't like it,
yeah,
right?
you were kind
Or
of throwing me under the
Tolomeo.
bus a little
Right.
bit.
And that's my fault. And I apologize for that. I do. I used to do shit like that. That's my fault. Misspeaking. I did the same thing. I'll fess up here. I used to do the same thing with my friend John Rambo back in the day, where
It's a very nice cat, by the way. How's he doing?
he's doing good. Jasper Kitty jumping up on the chair here, and at the same time that he's on the screen. Cool.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. John Rambo, you were talking about
Yeah.
that.
No, you know, the same thing happened with him where there was a situation with John Rambo where we were doing a project together, and someone had commented on one of my videos and said, you know, John Rambo's the best part of the show. We don't like you. We don't like the other guys who are in it. We only like John Rambo. And I took offense to that. And instead of being like, you know what, who cares? What do? I open my big mouth and I say something dumb. And I say, you know, when you say that, you're insulting everyone involved with the project, because it's not just John Rambo who's on the project. It's me and it's the crew and it's all of this. And of course, what happens is John Rambo's like, dude, why'd you say that? Because now it sounds like you're discrediting me. If someone likes what I'm doing on the show, why are you talking shit and acting? You know what I mean? Like, and I do have a bad habit of bringing that kind of shit up. Like, why am I bringing you up for my reason that I'm not playing Monster Hunter World? Yeah, I'm not playing it because, number one, I don't know how to play it. I played it with, like you said, with people from my moderators and stuff, and no one really liked it. And I should have just left it at that. So I apologize to you that you got any kind of negative clapback at all for the stuff that I said and did. Again, never my intention. I still feel awful about it to this day. You know, you're a really cool guy. Well, for the times that we had those interactions, we were hanging out. It was a blast. I love being on your stream and talking with you when you were playing a game. I liked it when you would come by my stuff from time to time. I honestly liked the prospect of us having interaction. For example, you coached me during my playthrough of Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. You actually like helped me with my dual wield build because I didn't understand how the mechanics of how that would work. And I remember you had told me all about it. And then I started doing it and I was like, wow, this is awesome. You know, and then I remember at one point we were talking that maybe we would do a run where I do like a crazy challenge run and I would summon you in and stuff like that. And that stuff, to me, like in 2017, this was like exciting ideas because I had always been an isolated guy, just like you just said. DSP doesn't work with anyone. DSP doesn't do crossover content. He just sits there and does his own shit, right? But I was seriously considering, you know, doing stuff. We had talked about another collab. I'm sure we're going to get to it here. There was going to be a collab we were going to do with other people that fell apart. Thankfully, thank God.
Yeah, yeah. Thankfully,
we'll talk about that in a sec. But
sure.
but you know, there was potential there. I saw the potential for a crossover. I did. I was seriously considering it, and then basically, you know, I got a little flaky about it, you know, because I didn't know if it was going to work or not. And then basically all the shit happened with you know, haters going over, and you know, I guess it was based off of what you're saying, that I had said that you didn't like Monster Hunter World, and they of course tried to spin that into a big negative for you, and you ended up taking a lot of shit for it. Again, same thing with John Rambo.
Okay. I mean, what do you think people are going to say when you say this person is the reason I'm not playing this game you want to see? They didn't have to spin it. That what you said was enough, right?
Yeah, and that's because I'm dumb. That's because I'm really dumb. You know, I'm trying to get better. You know, now we're 7 years later, and I really feel like I have gotten a lot better at that kind of shit. I'm careful about what I say and do, or I try to be careful, but I'm certainly not perfect, and I still make mistakes, but that's on me. And I'm really sorry for that. I really am, man.
Alrighty. Well, I appreciate it. I just want to touch on something you said though.
Go ahead.
With Dark Souls 2, this is the first time we've spoken, right? Like in any sort of voice capacity, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think we
Yeah.
chatted in each other's chats and
Yeah,
stuff back
so
and forth.
I don't want it to, because I know like one of the things about the Souls runs is people want to see you fail straight up. It's funny. So you would come into my stream and ask me like what build, and I'd be saying I'll just use dual wield with these rings or whatever. So I think calling it coaching is a little bit more than it was. I would have, like, if you said, Tolomeo, I want to do a Bloodborne level 4 run, I think that would have been content. I think what you want to know what my favorite video of yours is?
Dude, what's that?
Can you guess?
Well, if we're talking about me being a complete buffoon in like Souls games, the biggest clip of that was the one where I was on the cliff and I said, "Oh, I'm finally starting to get the hang of this. I'm liking this," and I walked right off the cliff and died immediately.
For me, it was your Lightning Returns unboxing video. The one
Oh,
with the,
everyone says that. Everyone
the fire
says that.
alarm in the background for 13 minutes. You know why it was going off? Because that video was fire. You need to make more shit like that. You need. I want bacon grease in the toilet, Phil. That's what the people want.
Oh man,
that's what the people want.
I know. That was back in the day. It was like anything goes, right? Like you could film a turd and people would like it. It was like, you know, and that's what it was. It was like train wreck shit.
Fun fact, real quick.
Mhm.
I know I'm interrupting a lot, but
No,
this is
go ahead.
relevant.
Go
One
ahead.
of the people that came to my Discord from yours was a guy who posted himself like he would shit in the toilet and post it in my Discord. Like, look what I did today. So
Oh
are you familiar with someone who goes by the name Mausolus10?
no.
That's
Oh.
another person who arrived at my stream because of our past interaction where he believed that he could utilize the psychic plane to invade anyone's dreams because he was a product of MK Ultra. And the only thing that protected me from his dream assaults was my dog protected me in the dreamscape. And he would threaten random viewers with stay out of the grass for the next 3 weeks. He would call black people red guards from
What?
Skyrim. And I'm
What?
like, yeah, this is the DSP everyman. This is their guy. So I
Oh
just
my
wanted
god.
I ended up banning him because he'd say like the fucked up shit about red guards. But I'm just
Oh.
curious if you were familiar with that name.
No, I mean, can you understand why I've been in the game for 16 years and I've never had like a public Discord or anything? Like, do you see why I don't want to deal with this shit? It's like, oh
Some
my
of it's
god.
funny though. If you lean into it, it's funny.
Wow.
You just gotta stop being so serious, you know?
No, and listen, and you don't know this. I definitely have. Like these last couple of months, I've actually done collabs. I've been on different shows. I did a public interview yesterday for Cultaholic Wrestling. I've been on this Kino Casino show over on Kick where they do basically drama videos and shit. And they used to make fun of me, and then I was on, and they liked me, and they're like, "Oh, this is cool. We'll have we did a co-op react to a documentary about another YouTuber. We
Which
even did
YouTuber?
gameplay. We actually did co-op gameplay, and that game Chained Together. And I'm looking to branch out and do different shit now. I'm older now. I'm 42 years old. I've mellowed out. I don't care about people talking shit about me. I don't care about this insignificant shit. I just want to have fun with an audience. I just want to make fun content for people. I don't care about this nonsense anymore. The things that I'm concerned about are the real detractors. The ones that are really out there, crazy obsessed, want to hurt me and my family. But outside of that, dude, I've mellowed out a lot. I'm not Mr. Serious, fucking stick up my butt anymore. I'm tired of being like that, quite frankly. You get to a point, it's like, dude, what's the point with this shit, right? So, yeah, that's true. Sarah in the chat just said, I had a fan for years who he's the nicest guy in the chat, but now I found out that the guy's basically like a pedophile. Like he's got all this shit on his YouTube channel and stuff. It's disgusting. And I tried to be nice to the guy for the longest time because he would never break the rules. He would never do anything wrong in my chat. But then everyone kind of campaigned to get him banned. And then finally I got convinced by these people I was doing a collab with to get rid of him. And I was like, I guess, this is the kind of people that get involved in these communities. Like, dude,
Whoa, whoa,
it's
whoa, whoa.
weird. The internet's a
How'd you
weird
have to
fucking
be
place.
convinced? What do you mean? Can you elaborate on that a little
Sure.
more for me?
Listen. It's not like I have any problem kicking, a pedophile out of my community. The problem is, this is someone who has absolutely never shown that in any of my streams or content. Like, I wouldn't even know about this if my detractors hadn't stalked this guy. Like, apparently they went to his social media, they went to his YouTube channel, they went to private playlists. I don't know, because I literally have never seen it. I don't want to see it, right? I don't want to be involved with that shit. But, I start hearing from detractors, oh, this guy is this guy is that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to pay attention to it. I'm not a guy who's going to micromanage and stalk every one of my fans because someone says something negative about them, right? So it was like my philosophy. Listen, I'm not your dad. I'm not your fucking parent. I'm not the cops. I shouldn't be, going to everyone's social media to see what you're into in your private life and shit. I really don't care. Just don't bring it to my content. I want to know nothing about it. But here's
Okay. So I have a few problems with that.
all right, fine.
The thing
Go ahead.
about that is like, yeah, you shouldn't be stalking people, but in this instance, it sounded like they were doing you a favor. They're saying there's someone who's into like little kids. Like that's giving you like that's not stalking someone and being unreasonable. If someone says like this person has pedophilic tendencies, you should probably ban them from your chat. You got to think of like, what if they're DMing other people in your chat? What if they're doing shit behind the scenes? I think you as a content creator, a streamer, however you want to style yourself, has a responsibility to the people who pay your bills to protect them from people like that. I think that if it took you a long time from when they first told you to you banning them, that's a pretty big moral failing, in my opinion.
The way I see it, and listen, I'm not going to disagree with you. Okay, I'm not. The way I see it is, this is a guy who, I would argue, is probably about a year and a half, 2 years. Was in chat and never caused a problem, and I didn't know any of this shit. And then all of a sudden, where do you hear it from? Am I hearing it from trusted people? No, I'm hearing it from, like, my detractors are coming in and trolling the guy. And by the way, this is not the only guy. They do this with a lot of my viewers. This just happened to be like a bad offender. Like, they'll make fun of my viewers for dumb shit too. This is a really bad
pedophilia.
situation.
This is
Exactly.
different. You could take 5 minutes to check the validity of this, right?
Well, again, that's a big step. For me, that's a big step, because you're saying now that any time that one of my detractors comes in and says, hey, just so you know, this person is doing something bad, now I'm supposed to just believe them and go check on every single person. Because what happens is, when you give these people an inch, they take a mile. So the first time it happens and I entertain it and I take the step, now it's going to happen to the next person and the next, and they're never going to give up. They're just going to do it literally to every person. And eventually it's going to be bullshit. It's going to be, this isn't serious. They're just doing it now to get attention because they realized they got me to react the first time. But I agree with you now.
The first time was a legitimate thing though, right?
But now I know it was. I didn't know it was at first. It took a lot of convincing from a lot of different people. And in fact, I had to personally, behind the scenes, apologize to a couple of people who were not detractors, who did recently tell me about this guy. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to give those haters that satisfaction that they think that I'm just going to take action because they say something about it.
But that literally doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the alternative is what? He's a pedophile and you don't ban him, and that you're sticking it to the detractors that way. They would probably be like, okay, well, we don't like Phil. We don't like that he asked for so much money. But when it comes to serious issues like this, he's, because you got to stop thinking about these hypotheticals. Ultimately, you said previously, should I check every time one person says something about my viewers? But before you said that, you told me just now that a lot of people were telling you about Derek, right?
At one point, yes, very recently. And that's actually when I got rid of him.
Okay. So I don't know. I just think if you're going to have the audacity to go in and, like, let's face it, like, streaming's pretty cushy in a lot of ways. If you're asking people for money, you should do right by them. And I think that doing right by them means not allowing actual child predators to just freely roam the chat, right?
For the record, I don't even know if it's like fully true. I just know people have told me. I didn't go deep into looking into this guy's stuff. And for the record, because I know you probably don't know this, there's no DMs on YouTube. There's no way this guy could have, like, reached out and tried to stalk or harass people through my channel. Unlike Twitch, where definitely that can happen, and there's evidence it happens all the time. On YouTube, it's just, it's like a comment system. So this guy, to my knowledge, was not ever taking anything that he did in his private life and putting it onto my viewers or other people in the community. In fact, again, the only reason I knew about this is because supposedly my detractors went deep into his shit to find it. And then when they found it, they threw it in my face like it's my fault, right? Oh, you have a follower who's a fucking pedophile. How dare you not take action? I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, why are you bothering me with this shit, But then after a while, you hear more and more people talk about it. And that's why, yes, finally when you have enough people, like, they're all confirming it. All right, now I got to take action because it's true. But my issue with it, now I understand. But my issue with it was, I was afraid that if you give these people an inch, they will keep taking the mile and keep pushing the envelope with every person in chat, with every person who ever supported me. And then, by the way, for the record, this guy didn't even support me. He never even gave $1. He never became a paid member, nothing. He was just the chatter, like a casual guy there. But fair enough. I've certainly heard this from so many people. You're just the next person to correct me on this issue. And, from now on, when I hear of serious shit like this going on, I absolutely will look into it and address it, because I agree with you. The safety of the community is more important than, the detractors got a one up on me.
Yeah, because, like you said, that one of the things you said in our DMs is you feel like you're on a redemption arc, right? Like you're trying to go on a redemption arc and prove that people were wrong about you, yeah?
I'm not that I'm trying to prove people are wrong. I'm trying to improve. Like, I know that I've made problems. I've had problems. I've had bad behavior. I'm trying to be better now. And I want people to know that. I want people to know that this is not the old Phil who's just gonna sit here isolated, not talk to anyone, be a fucking stupid big-headed idiot, not take criticism, not improve for the better. I want to be the better person. That's one of the reasons why I have you on today. I wanted the kind of conversation we're having right now to happen. This is exactly the reason why I wanted you on, because I need to have honest conversations with people to improve and move forward in my life.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, but having a conversation and following through on it, two different things, right? Because I will say to you, like,
Mm-hmm.
you've never done anything to me personally aside from the Monster Hunter thing. Like, you've been polite and respectful in basically all of our interactions. So I'm sorry if this comes off as, I'm not trying to be aggressive towards you, but I think if you're going
No.
to talk about wanting to be better, then you need to like accept that you really fucked up on a lot of places,
Yeah.
because that's a
Mm-hmm.
huge, huge fucking, that's a bad mistake. Letting it, like, if one person is just consistently saying like everyone in the chat's a pedophile, whatever. But if you have multiple people, you like within the next few hours, you should see that. Because what if you're wrong? What if your assumptions about like not being able to get into contact with people, what if they were on like, I don't know if you still have the King of Hate forum. What if they were in a Discord or something? And people like that they're a cancer. You need to get rid of them immediately, even if they're not bringing it in to your stream, because it's not about, I mean, like the way you say it, it's like if they're part of your stream and they're not bringing it in, it just sounds like you're saying it's okay for people to be that way. And I don't think that's right.
No, of course that's not what I'm saying.
I know, but that's the way you're describing it comes off that way a little bit.
I guess the here's the question I think every content creator has to face is, to what extent is your responsibility as a creator to vet or control your audience? Do you even do that? Or do you only do it when something comes to your attention? You know what I mean? Like, this is something new for me. This was the first case, honestly, where, people stepped up and said something about someone in my audience, and it was like something really serious. It's not someone, they're making fun of someone for something stupid. This was something serious, and, I just didn't know how to handle it, quite frankly.
Okay,
I
so
didn't know.
I have something uncomfortable to ask you then.
Okay.
Um, so you've been apologizing, but I think this is
Hmm.
going to sound weird, but I think if someone does the legwork to find out you have an actual predator in your chat and alerts you of that fact, you should thank them for doing that for you, because they're, even if it's not necessarily their stated intended goal from the beginning of it, they're doing you a favor. And you should be grateful that even if it didn't start with the best of intentions, you should be a big enough man to say, you know what? I don't like you fuckers, but this time you did me a service, you did people in the chat a service, and I think that you deserve commendation for that, basically. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and to some extent, this has happened over the years as well with other things. For example, there was this time. Actually, it was actually around the same time that we were having our interactions. Now that I'm thinking about it, where there was this couple. Listen to this story. I don't know if you've heard this story
I
before.
know this one. They
Oh,
mentioned me during this
oh, did
and
they?
on Kiwi Farms. Yeah.
So yeah, there was this couple who were, I guess they were like in Europe or something,
Hmm.
and they were catfishers, and they would
Yep.
impersonate women on the internet and pretend to be escorts, and they would create these giant overblown stories and harass people with these stories in an attempt to extort them and try to get like money out of them and shit. And they had tried to do this to me apparently, but it didn't work on me because I was already so hated on the internet and shit. I didn't care about my reputation or whatever. I just told everyone, listen, it's bullshit, right? I'm telling you it's bullshit. I don't have to tell you nothing else because it's all made up. It's all fantasy. And that's how I handled it. And no one really cared in my community, but it was my stalkerish style detractors who looked into the situation and found out who these people were and posted it up all over Kiwi Farms and exposed them. And, so out of, all these times that these people do these things, right? There are some times, absolutely, that good things come out of it. That was definitely one case. The Derek thing is definitely one case. But again, like, that's two drops in a bucket of, shit that they do, that it's like two positives out of 5 zillion negatives. And it's hard for me to really give credit with the other awful things they've said, they've done, they've heard, you know, that you, again, the extent of it is so ridiculous. I don't want to talk about it because when you talk about it, you're giving them attention. That's what they want, right?
Sure.
But I hear what you're saying. Yes, in this case, these are situations where even though the intention was negative, something positive came out of it. And I think they should know that you know, they should be credited with those times. But overall, does it justify their overall years of complete harassment and stalkerish behavior just because twice they got something that was like a positive out of it? I don't know. Like, I am thankful for the fact that they have exposed these things,
Okay.
right?
Okay. I'm gonna interrupt you really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've heard the opposite part of this too, where when you do something good and people are like, "Oh man, Phil actually knocked it out of the park," you feel like they only focus on the negatives, right? Like they won't acknowledge when you do a good thing. So I feel like they would say the exact same thing about you. That you just, it's just like listening to the other side of the fucking argument right now for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Fair enough.
you would say that sorry, they would say that maybe Phil did good this time, that time, whatever, but does it justify like the WWE champions or whatever the fuck
Mm-hmm.
else they're mad about you, mad about with you, excuse me. Um, so I don't know, man. I don't know. You just got to give credit when credit's due because you kind of expect to be commended when you do something good, right? Like you say, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that, I made this mistake, that mistake, and I've gotten better. And if you can't have it just be a one-way thing, right? You
I
can't
think you're
expect
right.
people to just ignore all of your fuck ups and only focus on commending you for the positives and not give the other side the same courtesy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. All right, how about this? Because I think someone in the chat just said it in a good way. Expecting Phil to worship people who hate him is unreasonable. I agree with that statement, but that's not what Tolo is saying. He's not
Yeah,
saying
that's
worship the
ridiculous.
people. He's saying give credit where credit is due, right? And in this case, in those particular situations, yes, I think credit is due. Um, but I also the reason that I don't give credit is because I have all the other shit going on at the same time. That's why. You know, it would be one thing if I hadn't had years of systematic harassment, my family members, my business, all stalked, all being hurt constantly behind the scenes. Um, then I probably would be more open, right? And that's what it is like now I've been on the defensive for so goddamn long. But that's why, Tolo, I really appreciate you being honest in our interview today because
Okay.
this is the kind of shit I need to hear. This is the shit I don't hear and I need to hear because I
Okay.
can't.
Then
Go ahead.
let's see. Let's do this then. Are you willing to thank people for taking care of the Derek situation and taking care of the catfishing situation? You're not busy now. We're having this conversation. So are
Hmm.
you comfortable saying that? I'm not asking you to worship people. You don't have to like them.
Right.
But if you want people to look past their misgivings with you, you have to do the same. And you have to acknowledge when people actually do something that's positive because it could have gone a whole nother way. Like if they really wanted to ruin your life to the extent that you think, they may have tried to embolden someone like Derek and enable him and get him in a position where he'd be able to cause real harm to your community. But they didn't.
Hmm.
That makes sense, right?
It makes sense, but you're coming at it from an angle, and I get it because that's the perspective you're seeing. My perspective is the reason that they didn't is because they wanted to pin it on me. Like they wanted to say, you see, Phil has this guy in his community, and that's that's on him. You know what I mean? Um, and so, but you know what? You're right. I will publicly right now say to anyone out there, because I actually don't know the people who were involved doing it. I don't go on Kiwi farms and study accounts and shit. I don't have any interaction with these. To those of you out there who don't, even if you don't like me, to those of you who have done me a solid, who have done these kind of things, exposing that ridiculous catfish, right? Taking care, well, not taking care, but exposing the truth about the Derek situation. Thank you for that because those are things that help the community, that help me, and I do appreciate that because, you know, for me, I'm just a dude sitting here streaming all day. I don't really go outside of like Tolo has even said here. It's rare when I would go outside of my comfort zone to explore into these regions, these realms of this shit going down. So I don't even know what to believe half the time, right? You know, I hear that I've heard that about Derek for about a year. I heard that about Derek, and I was like, I don't know what to believe because I always hear it from detractors, and it wasn't until I started getting corroboration from other people who are saying, well, we looked into it And we seen it too. Oh shit. So now I made a big mistake because I just immediately dismissed what the detractors were saying rather than giving it any kind of merit because it was from the detractors. When I started hearing it from other people, then I start to believe it. Next thing you know, oh, it's actually true. Shit. I should have taken action sooner. That's on me. I apologize for my lack of action faster, and I apologize for not giving credit where credit is due. Thank you to those who have actually done that the solid rather than, like Tolo suggested, tried to make it worse. Thing is, that's not everyone, but for those of you who were involved with that shit, I do appreciate that.
All right. I think in the future though, you should not qualify it at the end like that. You should just maybe a couple people, or you're thinking a couple people unjustly. Who gives a shit, right? Like it doesn't matter. It just makes it seem like a little more forced when you add the little bit at the end there. But we don't have to keep talking about this.
Dude, the conversation could go any way you want. I just wanted to have you on to shoot the shit. Like I said, this is a situation where it's a conversation that could go in a lot of different directions, and it's fine as long as people are enjoying it or we're getting something out of it. I'm totally cool with you being honest about this stuff. I am, because like you said, you're an outsider. It's good to get an outsider's perspective, right?
I mean, kind of. I've watched some of the earlier "This Is How You Don't Play" stuff. I've watched a good bit of it, but I don't know if I'd say I'm entirely an outsider because I've had dealings with you before. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I guess another thing I was curious about is people were in my chat last night said that you said that I was the one who wanted to be on the podcast rather than you inviting me.
No, that's not true at all. Never said that
Okay.
once.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Again, with every time that these people say something that's true, there's also a big mass of bullshit that comes with it. And so you got to kind of like pick through the shit to get to the nugget with these people. I'm sure they said 5 million things in your chat last night that were complete bullshit. But no, absolutely not. I wanted to have you on. I wanted to talk about our that interactions that we had in 2017, clear the air about what had happened there. To be fair, I had completely forgotten about the comments that I had made about you in Monster Hunter World. So I'm glad that that's been cleared up now, because now I remember, right? And this is not me trying to get you on here to make my image look better. I could give two shits about that. It's just having a real conversation with someone about this kind of stuff. I feel like I didn't know it was going to go this way, what we were going to talk about today, but I'm totally cool with anything. I'm so open to doing any kind of conversation these days. I mean, as you can see, it's a little different than the old Phil, don't you think? Where I probably would have got pissed at you and started fucking going crazy.
I mean, I was half expecting it because you hung up on that other guy, the guy before me. I watched that, Craig. You
but that's
fucking hung up on him, so I wasn't sure how.
That's a completely different situation.
I know, but I just got never
using me 100%. He was using me for his own personal benefit. What are you getting out of this right now? Nothing, right? You're to talk about this. You're not getting any. You're not trying to use me for a boost or anything. I would never hang up. You're being respectful. You didn't snake me like this guy did. You're being truthful, honest. You're being upfront. I appreciate honesty. That is the most powerful thing in life, is to be like honest with someone. The worst thing is passive aggression. When you have an issue with someone, but you fucking don't say anything, that drives me nuts, because I've been through that with my friends. I've been through that with relationships. It's like, just fucking say something if you have an issue with someone so it can be fleshed out, put out in the open, and addressed. Don't fucking hide shit inside. That drives me nuts. So I actually appreciate the fact, if you have these issues with me, that we're talking about them today live. This is a great way to do it. Thank you for that.
Sure. Of course. Yeah, I had no idea what this was going to be like either, because like I said, I've never talked to you like this. You've been in my chat, and I've responded to your messages in chat, but I don't know if I'm going to bring something up that's verboten and you're gonna lean in, manual ban me from the podcast, right?
You're not gonna, dude. Again, this is what happens. People like build it up, like my okay. I don't know if I should say my detractors, but my trolls, I guess, is a better word for it. The detractors are like the worst, but the trolls will always go and say, Phil's gonna do this, Phil's gonna do that, Phil's gonna do that. Phil's never gonna do any of the shit they say. That's the straw man that they've created around me. The argument of who I am. It's not who I am. That's what they want to portray me as. Because if I am that villain, now they have content. Now they can put out videos about it. Now they can do all this shit. Like, they're gonna spin this interview. Phil gets beat up by Tolo for an hour, and Phil takes it like a bitch. That's what that they're gonna say. That's their video for tomorrow or for this afternoon. You know, it's so stupid. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, it's two guys who are just talking, hashing it out. I'm appreciative of what you're saying, but that's how they'll spin it. That's exactly how they are. You know.
I mean, that's just content. That's how it goes, right? Like, I think as long as they're not trying to do anything that invades your personal life, I think that they should be able to make and spin their little videos. It's funny sometimes, right?
I
Like the
appreciate the humor of it, but where it gets dangerous, okay, is when some of these people are saying shit. Like, for example, this just happened a couple weeks ago. Okay, I was on my podcast talking about, you know, like a CEO of a company laying off a bunch of employees, and I'm like, that shouldn't happen. What should happen is the CEO is the one who screwed up. He should be fired, and he should be thrown out of the building, and they should take a box of all his belongings and like shoot it into the street, like comedically, like a cartoon or something, or like a 1980s movie, someone getting fired, right? One of my detractors actually makes a video. Phil said that the CEO should be shot in the middle of the street. He's inciting violence, right? It's like, what? What are you talking about? That never happened. Now, the funny thing is you laugh at it, but then you realize there's people who are going to believe that. And they're going to think that I'm inciting violence. And this guy actually had a call to action in the description of his video to try to get people to flag my fucking video and get my channel taken down for it, even though I never did it. And that's where it goes to the extreme, the harmful level, right? When you actually take a funny meme or whatever and you push it to the level where you're actually trying to hurt someone in their business, I can't stand for that shit. You know,
Sure.
that's when I got to call it out.
Sure. But it's like I said earlier, though, like I think if you got more comfortable with laughing at yourself earlier on, I don't think it would have. Maybe it would. I don't know. It's a hypothetical, but I don't know, man. Just you need to roll with the jokes more. I think the idea of you shooting a CEO in the middle of the street's pretty funny. Maybe you don't, but
No, dude. Again, I'm getting older. I can't, you know, I can't have anyone thinking that I'm gonna be beating people up and threatening people.
who
I'm
gives
so
a
past that
shit?
shit.
Like, come on.
No,
Like,
dude, you say that, but you understand that like these people actually try to get me into trouble. Like they'll get my channel suspended, saying that I did something I didn't do, and then if it gets suspended, I can't make money, and now I can't support my family. You know, I'm
no,
married.
I understand that part. I'm just saying, like, your initial thing is like you don't want people thinking that way about you. I don't think people should flag you or whatever unless it's deserved. Like, I think the instances we spoke about earlier, where you said a slur and like bullied someone based on appearance, I feel like that's distinctly your fault.
Hmm.
Um, it was it. I mean, it maybe you could say it was an overreaction, but anyone on Twitch who would say that word, even referentially, pretty good chance of being banned for a certain period of time, suspended. Um, I don't know, man. Uh, I just think I don't know. You just need to learn to laugh about yourself a little more. Like there was a time where if I brought up the Final Fantasy video, you would not be smiling. You would not be smiling
No,
at all, right?
dude, you're right. And like I said, I have fessed up. I've changed a lot over the years. I don't care about that shit. I watch it myself. I laugh at it myself. You know, it's stupid. My stupid old. I'm better than you. You know, how dare you criticize me? Big ego, right? Giant ego that I had back then in my earlier days as a YouTuber, and to some extent, you know, I would say upwards until around that time, around 2017, when I became a live streamer and I started having these interactions with my audience and having conversation. Instead of me talking to the wall or to the camera, I'm talking to real people now, right? And now I start get feedback, I get criticism, and people, you know, now wait a minute, okay, I need to roll with this shit. I do. I need to be more open to this stuff or whatever. Um, I agree with you there, but the slippery slope there is then just being okay with everything, and then people will just literally say and do anything to get a rise, and next thing you know, everyone on the internet thinks you're you know, a piece of shit for things you literally didn't do, and that's the extent that it's gone to for me, and that's the perspective that I'm coming from, is trying to recover. You know, now I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to make amends for the things I've done wrong in the past. I'm trying to be a better person. But then to them, it's like, well, it's never good enough. Move the goalpost further. Move the goalpost further because we need the content. There was someone just a few weeks ago. They actually revealed stupidly. I don't know why they did this. This is really dumb. They opened up their YouTube revenue. It's a detractor of mine. They revealed that on a slow month, they make $5,000 a month on hateful videos on me. In a good month, they probably make like upwards of $8,000 a month. And it's like, So you have incentive to keep making me the villain. Like, even if I were to improve and I were to laugh at all the jokes about me and all the memes and I were to do all this shit to improve, you wouldn't care because you have incentive to still make me the bad person because you make money on it. And that's really what's happened is there's people who have completely monetized this on YouTube, and I can't, it's like a vicious cycle now. Like, it doesn't matter how much I try to improve, I'm never going to be good enough for those people. So I have those kind of people I have to call out. I have to be like, listen, I get the joke, but at the same time, you can't just say this fucked up stuff about me constantly. You're hurting my business. You're trying to get me shut down on YouTube. That's at least my perspective from that situation. But I agree with you. I'm doing my best to be better. And like you said, I don't care about those videos anymore. The Final Fantasy video, this is how you don't play. I've watched them back and laughed my ass off at myself because of the way I used to be. And, you know, like you said, that was the golden days of content, right? The dumb, poorly cooking with the king and shit, and me acting like a moron.
So, do you have any aspirations to have any more people on this stream? Because I have a recommendation for the next collab.
Yeah, dude, I am looking for a lot of different stuff. I'm looking to branch out and do all kinds of stuff. Well, who's your recommendation?
Do you know who King Cobra JFS is?
I have actually, the reason I know of him is because I have a react show, a clips react show, and people have submitted clips of him to the show, and I've watched them, and I've seen his snail sandwiches and shit that he does. Yeah.
Can you fucking imagine a duo cooking stream with him? That would be the best shit ever. You could imagine how much grease is going to go in that toilet.
Oh. Oh my Lord. Oh man. I'm actually looking, you know, I've been in talks with Wings of Redemption. I've been in talks with Boogie. I've been in talks with a few different people about possibly having appearances on here. You know, I'm working on stuff, but I don't have anything confirmed yet.
Boogie, come on, man. What the fuck?
No, dude, I know. Here's the thing, like, I'm not involved with this shit. Like, everyone else has done it, right? Everyone else has done a video on this guy and talked about this shit going on. It's just so, like, this shit is just so fucking outside of the sphere of the shit that I care about, right? But I mean, obviously, the guy's fucking heinous. He lied to me about it, too. Like, we had DMs at the time. Like, when he had first said he had cancer, I actually had DM'd him on Twitter, and I was like, dude, I wish you the best. So sorry to hear this. And he lied to me about it, too. You know, he was literally did the rounds, lied to everyone about it, acted like it was real. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it'd be pretty funny if you boxed Boogie. I think that's what the people want.
Oh, boxing is so stupid.
Boxing come on, dude.
There's no, listen, stuff on the internet is stuff on the internet. When you're crossing over to the dumbass realm of this fucking loud call boxing and shit, that is so dumb. That's like the lowest common denominator of shit. You know, and quite frankly, he's not going to take it. Someone like him never takes it seriously. He didn't. You know, the first fight with Wings, he didn't take seriously. It's just dumb. I'm not out to fight people. I'm out. As I've been saying, I'm out to build bridges now. All the fucked up stuff I've done, I want to make up for that. I want to improve. I understand the appeal of seeing this boxing shit, but I want to mellow out when I get older. I don't want to be the guy who's a fucking, you know, wants to beat up and shit and making threats, you know.
I mean, in this instance, it would be agreed upon, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, Boogie he doesn't care about anything. He just likes his name being mentioned, so it wouldn't matter one way or another with him. There'd be no real catharsis. But yeah,
I think the Wings of Redemption interview would be great because this is a guy who a lot of people have compared us over the years. You know, we're both gaming content creators. We've never really spoken together. We never actually. Now that I think about it, we've literally, just like with me and you right now, I've never spoken to the man, not once. It's always been like maybe a DM here or clapping back on a stream here. And just to have that conversation and see where it goes, I think would be fascinating. So.
Yeah. Aren't you both big into the Souls games?
I don't know what he's into. Like I said, I really don't follow a lot of other content creators. So I quite frankly don't know what he's into. Everyone always says that I should 1v1 him on Bog in Call of Duty because that's the meme of the big money match or big hype thing that he did ages ago and he lost live on stream and then he rage quit the stream or whatever.
Yeah.
And people, it's hilarious. People have actually said that watching his gameplay versus mine, they think I'm better than him at Call of Duty. I don't think it's a meme. I think people believe it too. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it would be fun to do a Call of Duty match. I don't know. That's something to talk about. I thought you were
building bridges, bro. Now you're saying you could beat this motherfucker in a one-on-one?
Of course I could. He sucks. No, I'm just.
You should do a co-op Souls run with him, though. I think that would be funny as fuck.
Yeah. What is the viability of doing a co-op run in like a FromSoft game? Because
It
the
depends on the
summoning
game.
mechanic isn't all the time, right?
I mean, for Elden Ring, I believe there's a mod that lets you do seamless co-op and just play through the entire thing, but it can be a pain in the ass for some of the other ones.
Yeah. Hmm. I would love to do something like that with someone, anyone. That would be cool because I've gotten way heavier into the Souls games now. I play them every time they come out. I'm playing any FromSoft stuff. I've gotten so much better. It's hilarious now because people used to like to watch me play them because I sucked so bad, but now I don't really suck that bad anymore. So now people are like, "Oh, it's not fun to watch you to play it anymore." I'm like, "So what do you want me to do? Purposely suck in order to make the playthrough better? I don't know what to do." With this last one, the Shadow of the Erd Tree, I legit like beat the whole thing. I kept changing my build through the whole thing to make it more challenging, and I still really didn't have much difficulty, except for the last guy, Radon, of course, was ridiculous. But
Yeah, everyone was mad about that one. It was pretty funny. I liked it. I think I was in the minority though.
yeah, he was tough, but you know what? I like bosses that are tough but fair. And in that case, that's a boss that's just like fucking really tough, but I felt like it was a fair fight. Once you learned everything, you were down to kick his ass. There's some other fights that are just broken shit, and those are the ones I don't like. Gimmick fights and stupid shit. But that was a fair but tough fight, and I beat it legit. I didn't cheese him with some kind of a broken build or whatever. And people were like, "Oh, so this isn't fun anymore." I'm like, well, that's what
I mean,
happens.
you don't have you should just stop worrying about whether someone thinks you cheesed it or not. Because Elden Ring, my first Elden Ring playthrough and my only playthrough of the main game I did on stream, I never leveled up. I just went through level 1 and speed all bosses level 1. Took for fucking ever. But it's like you're using square off. You cheated. You're cheesing the game, and it's like, dude, maybe I am, but you're not. The point is, like, who gives a fuck? You're never going to be able to actually please people who are that way.
You're right.
So you just got to play the
Oh,
way you want to play.
I very much know that from experience now, because at first that's what it was. Oh, you suck, get better. So you get better. Oh, well, now you're not. This isn't entertaining anymore. So you wanted me to suck? Like, I don't get it. And then you do the build. Oh,
Yeah,
that build's
yeah. I
cheap.
think it's funnier when someone's bad at those games. Personally,
Sure, absolutely, I agree with you. And but then they asked me to play them all, so then I'm eventually, of course, I'm gonna get better at them, right? It's, and what are you gonna do? And then use a build. Oh, well, that build's cheap. Okay, I'm gonna purposely change my build now because you said that's cheap. Oh, well, this build is cheap too. It's like, fuck off. At this point, it's like I'm just gonna play the game, and you're never gonna be happy. The goalposts will never stop being moved. So
sure. I mean, that's not a you thing though. That's just how people who watch Soul streams are, as
yeah,
in a broad sense. So I wouldn't be too burnt up about that. It doesn't matter who you are; they'll get mad at you for playing the way they're not, or a way they're not playing.
sure. So I had a great time with you. We're getting to the end of our time. I told you it would be about 90 minutes, and I don't want to keep you too long.
Sure.
Um, is there anything particularly you'd like to talk about here at the end? Or what I'd like to do is, obviously, I want people to know about you and what kind of content you make over on Twitch. You want to talk about that at all?
Nah, not really. I don't think there's a lot of overlap in our audiences. I play dumb shit. I find like the worst indie games ever. Some of them are good, but
That's fun
I
though. Like,
I
like
just
you know,
play like
I've never had the ability to do that because I wasn't a PC gamer until a month and a half ago. Now I have a gaming PC and I can play all this silly shit, and it's fun to be able to like dabble in random stuff. I like that
no, you
appeal.
don't understand. I'm talking like dog shit. I'm talking My Little Pony horror games like on itch.io. I'm talking about fucking Dora the Explorer horror. Like the worst shit you've ever seen. And then every once in a while there's something really good. Like you know what game would be awesome for you to play?
What's that?
You should play Fear and Hunger. That would be
Hmm.
mwah. You
Someone
should
mentioned
look
that
that
to me.
up.
Yeah, someone mentioned that game to me. It sounds familiar. Is it horror themed game?
Yes, and I know you're a sucker for those old turn-based RPGs. It is a turn-based RPG. I think you would get a kick out of it.
Huh. I'll have to look into it, especially with October coming up. And I always do like a Halloween marathon. Maybe I could play it during then and give it a shot and see what it is. Cool.
I think that would be very entertaining. But you should try to look up as little about the game as possible.
Okay, don't spoil myself. Got it.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me ask you this. With the kind of gamer that you are and the fact that you play so many random games, do you have like any games coming out in the next few months? Like this is the biggest gaming season of the year, right? Like all these fucking giant games are coming out. Are you actually even interested in any of the new games coming out in the next few months? Or are you just like so into the like indies formula that's just your thing?
Nope, don't give a shit. I don't know. Most of the time when I play games now, it's just on stream. I haven't played a lot on my own time, and my audience likes a particular type of thing. Like they would not be happy with me if I started playing, let's say, Call of Duty. They'd be like, "God
Right.
damn it! Like, why the fuck are you playing this shit, you idiot?" So it always has to be some new weird thing I find. But
That's
yeah.
the cool thing though about your channel is that that's a niche, dude. That's a good niche to be in. While
Oh,
everyone else
don't
is
please don't
always
use that fucking word. My fucking stream
oh
paid for a
no.
cameo of Boogie saying like, "Tolomeo, find your niche," and they did it for my
Oh.
birthday. And you want to know the most fucked up thing too? Me and Boogie have the same birthday. You know how
Oh
that makes me
no.
fucking feel? And there's another streamer who shares our birthday, and his name's Arcadum. And he did the worst thing you can do on Twitch. He actually had everyone abandon him because he tried to like sexually assault VTubers in real life, like giving them like a back
Oh.
massage. And so nobody good was born on that day.
Oh
Like, this
no.
is,
Dude, you gotta own the day then. You gotta be like, nah, it's my day. Fuck everyone
I
else.
don't
Cause I,
fucking know, dude. That's a lot of weight to get through between the two of them. Holy shit.
holy shit. All right. So there, okay, I won't use the word, but that's a good angle for content is to be the guy that's not going to be doing the mainstream shit. You're going to be going out there playing the weird stuff and you're successful at it, and that's something to be applauded in the current climate where so many people who are doing content creation are just about being commercial and playing the big game and getting a fucking sponsorship for playing the big game shit. And you do your thing and you're cool doing it. You're successful doing it. That's to be applauded. And I just last night, okay, I was curious what you were up to, and I went and watched your archive stream of you doing. I don't know what the name of the game was, with the pickaxes. You're climbing
Lawrence
all over
Lure.
the place. What's it called?
Lawrence Lure.
Horn's Lure. And dude, I watched 5 minutes of it. I'm cracking up. Like you're funny as shit. Your commentary's funny, and I will tell you this: you helped me in that early year, that 2017, that year when I was trying to become an interactive streamer. Watching your streams gave me kind of like a base level knowledge of how to balance gameplay with talking with an audience because I had never done it before. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, you know? And you're good at it. You're playing the game, and man, that's an intensive game. You got to be paying attention, but you're going and you're reading chat, and then you're back to the game and you're reading chat and you're holding conversations, and you're really good at that. That's like your real strong point, I feel, is that you've become a really great master level interactive streamer with these games that otherwise would be pretty hard to play. And so congrats on that. And funny as shit. Like watching you for 5 minutes, I'm cracking up just watching your stuff last night. And it was like I never left. It was like I was still watching you from 2017 and enjoying the stuff that you're doing. So good on you for that.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks. Just remember what I said though. Like if you're genuine about the learning from me in the stream, the Derek thing rubs me the wrong way in a big way. I
Mm-hmm.
think that you said like where should a line be drawn for streamers and YouTubers, right?
Right.
It depends, but you style yourself as an interactive person now. Now you talk to your viewers every day. Um, you should feel an obligation to not have like predators around them, right? And of course, you don't know everything. Of course, it's unreasonable to expect. If once you start getting a certain number of people, and some of them are going to be bad. I've had bad people in my chat, but like once you find out, even if it's from a source that you don't necessarily trust, you got to do your due diligence with it, you know?
Mm. And now I know that. And for me it was always being on the defensive, and that's my fault. It's being so defensive because it's coming from a detractor. If it had come from literally anyone else first, I probably would have looked into it. But the fact that it came from the detractors first, I go into defense mode, I get into my fucking turtle shell. It's like, nah, fuck this. I'm not gonna pay attention. I'm not gonna pay attention. It's like almost like a thing with me, like I'm purposefully not gonna pay attention because that would give them something. But in this case, that was the wrong thing to do. And I acknowledge that now. I made a mistake. Apologize to my community. Again, here, I'll do it this way. Thank you to whoever it was who looked into it and exposed it. It was the right thing to do. And thank you for doing it.
All righty. That's good. See, you just got to, it's baby steps. Obviously, people are not going to be like, oh, yeah, Phil's turned over a new leaf because of that. But you got to, if you want to do, if you want to be better, you just got to keep doing stuff like that. Just got to keep trying. Just got to keep improving. Be thankful for the people who pay your bills. Make sure maybe you should do like an event every once in a while where you turn all of like this, none of the fucking bullshit about like vests and hats and goals, just no money, just have like, I don't know, do a community night or something. Like that one time you
Mhm.
played World of Warcraft and everyone was fucking you for like 3 hours. And you think you'd be able to laugh at something like that now?
Here's the thing, as long as that's the case, yes. Like, if we know that's the purpose of it, like the fuck with Phil night, sure. The thing that upset me about that, because it was a event where people had paid to see it happen. If I remember, maybe I'm misremembering, but I think what it was it was like early on in my Patreon, and it was a goal where people had pledged they want to see me play World of Warcraft. Seriously, it wasn't like fuck with Phil. It was like, we want to see Phil enjoy an MMO. And the fact that that happened actually upset a lot of people because they wanted to see me play it, and they couldn't. I couldn't even get past the fucking tutorial area because they were killing all the low-level mobs. I couldn't even pass the introduction missions. So, but no, like now, to do something that's the purpose, just to fuck around, I think that would actually be pretty darn funny. Again, as long as it doesn't go into the realm of, something like really fucked up. Like, people going in there, now they're insulting family members, they're doxing people, because they do that shit too. They'll go in there and start fucking trying to throw out shit on the stream. It's like, oh my God, I did do some community nights in Street Fighter 6 last year. For about a month I did them. Like once a week. It would be, hey, just come play me. I'm opening a lobby. Play me in Street Fighter 6. I enjoyed it, but actually my viewers didn't, because they said, well, you're beating everyone up. You're too good at Street Fighter. So it's just you beating people up all night. It's not entertaining. So I stopped doing it. But I'm actually considering doing stuff like that with Call of Duty next month, where we might have a night where join the lobby and we all play together. And who cares if people troll or whatever? It's just to fuck around. It's not serious business, That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, you could just get like a mod or something to make sure that nobody's doing any doxing or whatever, and just let the rapscallions run free.
All right. Well, we're pretty much coming to the end of our time. Is there anything else you want to say or bring up before we conclude here?
No, not in particular. I think that's everything from my side.
Dude, I want to say I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you coming on. As you can see, no one knew how this was going to go. I feel like this was an incredibly productive conversation. If ever in the future, you want to talk about something again, feel free to reach out. I'm down. And I guess we'll just see what the future holds, right? That's what the important thing is. Now that I'm trying to change for the better, see what happens, and hopefully I am learning, and hopefully this will be a learning experience from having this conversation. I'm ever moving forward better. And I really appreciate your time, man.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you so much, and bye-bye. See you later.
Take it easy.
All right, well, guys, that was pretty interesting, was it not? That was very interesting. Again, I had no idea how that was going to go at all. I didn't know what topics he was going to want to talk about, and I'm happy that he brought up the shit he did, quite frankly. And that's the thing. People don't want to believe that. They want to think that Phil's going to be offended because someone's bringing up a topic or whatever. I'm not offended. Couldn't be further from the truth. Here's what we'll do. I'm going to end this as a video, because what I want to do is I want to get back to my setup. So I'm not, look at me, how choppy I am on freaking Discord, right? Let me stop recording this. I'm going to do a decompression like video for maybe like a half an hour or whatever. And with my setup with the proper camera, and then we'll get to other stuff today. But that was great. Thank you again. Thank you, Tolo, for your time. Thanks for everyone for watching. And I'll be right back with the decompression. Enjoy. Okay, so guys, yes, I need to basically migrate my camera over. I got to get my whole setup working differently. All right, so if you could bear with me, the stream is going to go down for about 5 minutes while I swap the camera over. I get it working, and then it's just going to come right back. You don't have to go anywhere. It's going to come right back right here. And then we're going to talk about that. We're going to do shout outs. We're going to have a lot of fun. Okay? All right, I'll be right back. Let me just get everything set up, and I'll see you in a sec. All right, guys, I think I should be coming back. Can you hear me? because then I'm going to come on camera and we're going to do shout-outs, decompressing, all of that jazz. Is everyone still here? Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Can you guys hear me? Hello? Why is no one saying anything? Oh, you hear me? Oh, it must have been a big delay. All right, people can hear me. I was like, what the hell? All right. So let's do a little bit of decompression for about 20, 30 minutes. We'll talk about that. And then we'll get set up for metaphor. All right. Fair enough. Here we go. All right, everyone. What's up? Phil here on my real setup now, not the crappy Discord setup. And welcome to the decompression after the Tolomeo interview right here on DSPGaming. It basically, I had no idea where the interview was going to go, and it went to a bunch of places that, quite frankly, I didn't know it was going to go. Basically Tolo calling out a lot of stuff that I misremembered from 2017, which was good. It's good to get the truth out there about shit that perhaps I've been misspeaking about for many years or just don't remember properly. And there was a lot of things he called out, and a lot of, I think, honest, open discussion that we had that needed to happen. I actually really, really enjoyed that interview. I did. I thought it went really well because that's stuff that people want to flesh out and basically kind of, I don't know, take care of. You know what I mean? And I feel like now, because that's been discussed publicly, I can change for the better and we can move forward with certain topics. I'm sure we're going to address these right now, okay? So first off, thank you to everyone who attended. I have no idea how many people were here watching. I didn't even look at the stream. But thank you to those who are here now. We're at 137 likes. If you enjoyed that, please give the stream a like. Thanks to those who super chatted. And there was a single tip. Let's do the shout outs now. Once we go through the shout outs, we'll continue. Someone's asking, did I change my lighting? Today, I needed to have my curtains open because it's going to be sun coming in, and I have to have it open, so that's why it looks so bright like this. If I had them closed, it would be way too hot in here, especially for an interview. I'd be sweating. How am I going to do an interview if I'm sweating and stuff? What I can do is I can actually open my other blind soon. I didn't want to have it open because it was going to have sun on my PC. So, really? I'm being told I had over 700 viewers. I didn't even look. I literally didn't even look. All right. Let's do some shout outs, shall we? So, let's take a look here. Oh, I received a tip from Gaping Fart Hole. Oh, how nice. It was a $1 tip from Gaping Fart Hole. Well, the good news is Redemption Love had already tipped $10, so I don't have to put Gaping Fart Hole on the leaderboard. That's good news. There we go. Thanks for that $1 tip. We had a whole bunch of super chats that had come in. Let's look here. I think someone really didn't like Tolo. So, Rick Perez first did a $2 super chat and says, laughing out loud, that's what happened to Maximilian too. I don't know what that's in reference to, because that was probably from the beginning of the interview. But thank you for that. Then Rick Perez did another super chat. People are mad because Phil isn't joining a lynch mob. Okay, thank you for that. Then he did another super chat. This guy is a douche. I don't think he's genuine at all. This is probably a waste of your time. I don't feel that at all. I completely disagree with you. I don't think that Tolo was being a douche in any way, shape, or form. Tolo is someone who, he knows who I am. He's followed, like, this is how you don't play shit. But he's not an active detractor. He's not someone who A-logs me. He's just someone who knows of me. Kind of like not really a neutral party, but one of the best parties to talk to. Because he has some knowledge, but he's not prejudiced against me. You understand? So having a conversation like that was good because it was better than just talking to someone who knows nothing, but it's also much better than talking to someone who's like heavily invested in, you know what I mean? It was kind of a different, interesting conversation. I would love to have conversations just like that hit us and we're like, whoa, what were we talking about? What happened in the future? That's good shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Then Rick did another super chat. Be grateful for people stalking and thought crimes. This is Red Scare type stuff. Again, I don't want to get into it because we actually did talk about it in the interview, so we're not going to get into big detail about it. But there's a difference between, okay, a bunch of trolls told me something, and because of that, I decide not to believe it whatsoever, versus other people were coming out and kind of saying stuff, and I was like ignoring it on purpose because I didn't want to give that level of credit or satisfaction to the trolls. That's a huge problem with me, right? That but the trolls, the detractors, have hurt me so much over the years that I put on this fucking turtle shell that even if something is going wrong and they have information, I just don't want to pay attention to it because I don't want to give them the credit or the satisfaction that they actually did something good for once, right? That's a bad attitude to have, and that's something that I need to improve. Okay? Again, Rick with the $2 super chat saying, is this guy auditioning for side scrollers? No, he's not. I don't think he would ever be on side scrollers. I'm pretty sure that's not his kind of content. Rick did another $5 super chat. It doesn't matter. Let me moralize. You keep bringing it up every 5 seconds. I don't even know what you're talking about there. But thank you for another super chat. Then he did, dude, seriously, every super chat is from this Rick Perez guy. He did another $2 super chat. Being harassed is funny, says Tolo. No, there's a difference between rolling with a meme and having fun with it versus systematic harassment to try to hurt you. And that's what the point Tolo was trying to make. There's a difference between, okay, people are making fun of you for your gameplay. Laugh at it. People are making fun of you because of your unboxing video of Final Fantasy. Laugh at it, right? People are making memes about your bad gameplay, this or that. Laugh at it. But when people saying, oh, you actually wished physical harm on someone and you incited your audience to hurt them, everyone go flag Phil's video. No, that's where you draw the line. And that's when you call it out. And that's when you say, no, you don't laugh at that. You take that shit seriously. And that's what we discussed. And I think that's something that needed to be discussed, right? Let's see here. Now Rick did another $5 super chat. I have no idea what he's talking about in this one. I don't even want to read it because I don't even know what it means. Quite frankly. Then Hank Fritz did a $2 super chat, says, don't debase yourself with lolcow shit, Phil. I think that's in reference because Tolo said, why don't you box Boogie? And it's like, I don't want to box anyone. That's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Even if there's a paycheck behind it, it's dumb as fuck. There's no point to doing it. It's not serious. You know what I mean? There's no point to that whatsoever. It's just, it's a waste of everyone's time. It's all fun and games when it's on the internet. You know, you want to do an interview, you want to talk some shit, you want to do some drama content. There's a difference between carrying over that internet presence to physical realm shit. I mean, Boogie is not in a situation where he should be boxing anyone. You know, neither is Wings. These guys are unhealthy. I was very worried during that match that one of them was going to get into serious, health troubles, really. And I don't think that anyone should be, like, promoting that kind of shit. But you're never going to see me in a ring boxing anyone in an exhibition. That's just fucking stupid. And then Brick did another super chat. Harassment is funny when it's convenient, says Tolo. No, it's funny. Harassment is funny when everyone gets the joke. That's exactly how you should put it. It's okay to make fun of someone if everyone is in on the joke. When they're doing the roasting of someone, they have an actual roast and their friends and celebrities and people are there and they're making fun of them. Everyone gets the joke. No one actually has true malicious intent towards the person, and therefore that's okay. When you actually have malicious intent towards a person, that's when the joke isn't funny because not everyone's getting it. You understand? That's the difference I feel that you need to separate. Then Rick just did another $5 super chat. Thanks for all these super chats, Rick. He says, I get you, man. I appreciate that you kept an open mind. It's hard as someone who's had to watch people harass you for years on end. Again, Tolo sees it from a different perspective. And I get his perspective. I do. He's not in the thick of things. He literally, Tolomeo. Now I know how to pronounce his name. It's Tolomeo. Tolomeo literally does not know 1/10 of the amount of shit that I and my family have been through. Because I don't talk about it publicly. You guys would never know about the shit that happens behind the scenes or whatever, because I don't want to give it any attention. The A-logging levels are insane. Let's put it that way. So what he sees is, these people on the internet are making fun of me, and he sees Darkside Phil react badly, and he thinks, man, you know, you should have done that way better or whatever, right? I agree. Remember, the stuff he's bringing up is so old. Like, he's bringing up shit from the This Is How You Don't Play days, right? And it's like, yeah, but since then, I've watched This Is How You Don't Play. I've reacted to This Is How You Don't Play and laughed at it and said that it's good and that people should easily make it, right? I've outright reacted to my documentary and said, you know, I should have definitely reacted to This Is How You Don't Play differently back in the day. I should have rolled into the memes. I should have made them myself. I should have done all that. Now it's too late. But, you know, hindsight's 2020, and now I see the error of my ways from the past, right? Okay, so I'm curious, what do you guys want to talk about based on that interview? I've got some ideas of things that I want to clip out of it for later, you know, rather than have people watch the whole 90 minutes. But what do you guys actually want to talk about now that that's over? Tag me in the chat. What topics do you think are important to discuss now that we're calming down? And this is going to end in about 20 minutes because I want to get to the metaphor demo today. Let's see what you guys want to talk about. 672, that's on me. 672 says, you mentioned more than once you would have taken the Derek issue more seriously if you weren't only the detractors bringing him up, but regulars, including myself, brought it up. The problem is that this is my problem. This is not your problem. This is my problem. Okay? Basically, oh, I have to update top super chatter, and it's Rick Perez. Basically, because the detractors brought it up first, okay? Oh, God, I can't even type. Because the detractors brought it up first, all right, it immediately ingrained it in my mind that, number one, it's not true, because everything they say is false, right? That's not correct, but that's what happens in my fucking head after being conditioned for over a decade to be beat up by these fucking people. That's number one. Number two, the fact that if I had looked into it, if I had confirmed it myself, I'm giving my detractors ammo to work with future stuff. Like 672, you brought it up, so I'm going to use this as the example, and I hope you don't take offense at this, right? Because you were the one to speak up about this. So, the Derek thing, right? It comes up, it's realized, okay, I look into it. Oh, God, it's true. I ban him. So 672, the next person they go after is you. And they look into your past. Now, this isn't true. This is a hypothetical. They find out that 10 years back, you used to shitpost online. You used to harass women, or you used to fucking do, like, stupid shit, conservative shit that people don't like now in the common day, in the common climate. And now they blow it up. Did you know that this guy was this, and he did this and this? You know, would you like that? Because you would be the next target. You understand? So because you give them the little inch, they take the mile. Right? So what's to stop them from now to say, we want to investigate all these people who are regulars in Phil's content to see if these people are fucking bad people? And here's the thing. There's a difference between, we found out all this shit about Derek, correct? We did. And, you know, okay, fair enough. But what happens is, it's going to happen like what happened to me. Originally, what happened with me was, okay, so, FYI, your gameplay sucks. This is how you don't play. Then it becomes, your attitude sucks. This is how you don't stream. Then it becomes, your business sucks. This is how you don't run a business. This is how you don't spend your money. This is how you don't play this game. This is how you don't do that and this. And then it becomes everything, and it gets to the point where nothing is good enough, right? So in this case with Derek, it was absolutely awful, right? And the right thing to do was to get rid of him. We all agree with that now, right? But the next thing might be not as serious. It might be, oh, something you posted 10 years ago, but people really don't like it today. Got to get rid of that guy. Oh, you look at this shit. You got to get rid of that. And then it just becomes this fucking witch hunt. This is DSPGaming, not, you know, DSP Salem, where we're going to do witch hunts on every single person who comes into the stream and says or does something, and then people got to look into them and find out all this personal shit about them. That's fucked up. That's beyond fucked up, right? But that's the level that it goes to. So you have a point, 672. You're right. It wasn't just you. It wasn't just detractors that brought up the Derek thing. But at what point do you draw the line and say it's just going to get worse if we entertain this? Now, eventually I had to do something because it reaches the boiling point, right? You know, I'm reaching out. I'm doing collabs. I'm doing other shit. And now those people are bringing it up. And it's like, Well, what can you, at this point, even though, yes, it means admitting that the detractors actually did something right for once, because really, I think it's been twice ever in my entire existence that they did something right. I got to man up. I got to admit they did something right, and I got to thank them for it, and I got to do the right thing, and I got to ban him, and we got to move on, right? I mean, just God, please don't let it fucking be this on endlessly. I don't want this to be the three-ring circus of this person did this. Now go look. You got to look into this, Phil. This person did this. I'm not doing that. I'm a content creator. I'm here to stream and make content for you guys and have fun. I'm not here to be a fucking fucking judge who's slamming a gavel on everyone. I deem you not worthy to do this, that. No, I'm not doing that. Okay? We have to find that happy medium. Hopefully we don't find a situation that's bad again and we have to deal with it like that again, right? But if it does happen again, I definitely would like to hear from outsiders, not detractors, but outsiders about this shit. Because I'm not going to go stalking people in their profiles and shit to find this out. I'm not. All right? That's fucked up to me. I'm a content creator, but I need to stalk people on their socials and go into hidden private playlists and shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. What else? And by the way, guys, like I said, if you do contribute, I will shout it out. We got about 10, 15 more minutes, and then we're going to switch over to Metaphor and enjoy the demo all day. I'm very excited to see what it's like. Change is good, but you seem too nice. Apologizing is good, but you have not always been wrong. You need to call it out when you disagree with something. Who said I disagreed with anything? Who said I disagreed with anything? I need people to make me see reason, because you have to understand that I've been in a certain situation for a decade. And I've been stuck in that fucking situation. And I haven't been able to see any other perspectives. And I haven't been able to see anything but my own tunnel vision line of sight. Because that's where I was put. I was put in that fucking position by 10 years of abuse. Now I need to break free of that. And I need to start seeing bigger picture perspectives. I need to understand what's really going on around me and get that, you know? And that's something that's going to take a while. That's not something that's an overnight change. That's something that's a gradual change. You know? I received a $5 tip from Big Papa Phil. Last thing on the topic, I don't want to read the whole thing, but basically he's implying, you know, even if Derek is a sex pest, it doesn't mean he's a sex predator. Does anyone have evidence of any of that? I really don't care at this point. See what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be involved in that. I'm literally not going to go to Derek's page and look at his fucking playlists. I'm not going to do that. Ever. I don't want to see the content. You understand? Like, that's vile shit. I don't want to be involved in it. Right? If people make me aware of this kind of shit and there's consensus, then I'll take action. But I'm not going to be Mr. Detective who's going to be looking to see if you're a sex pest or a sex predator or a sex anything. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be involved in this. I'm here to stream and make fucking content. I'm not here to judge this fucked up stuff on the internet. I'm not. I don't care. This is fucked up beyond belief. I'm not going to be involved with this shit. You know, it actually pisses me off that there's people out there that seem to be under the impression that I need to be some kind of a fucking internet sleuth and shit. No, I don't. All right? I just, you know, I'm not going that far. But happily the situation is dealt with. We've moved on from it. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. All right? I'm just not. It's just funny because for how many years, right? First it was my detractors for like a year. Then it was other people for like a year. I finally, we take care of the situation. He's gone. Now we got people in chat. Well, you didn't confirm. Well, you didn't do this. Well, you didn't. Fuck you. Really? Fuck you. You harassed me for 2 years about this shit. I took the proper action. And now you're going to give me shit for it? No. You can take that goalpost that you moved and you can shove it up your fucking ass. How about that? I'm done with the subject. I'm not mentioning the guy ever again. As of this moment, there's nothing else to discuss. If something like this ever comes up again, all right, we'll have to deal with it on a case-by-case basis, but I'm not wasting fucking time on this topic anymore. This is a waste of everyone's fucking time, okay? Enough with the goalpost bullshit. Okay. All right. What else do you guys want to talk about? What if it brings it up again? I'll say, go watch the other content where we already addressed it. I'm not here to talk about the same shit a million fucking times. We've already, I've beat the dead horse till it's a pile of fucking flesh that's, oozing all over the street. We don't need to keep talking about the same topics over and over. No, we do not take Jasper Kitty outside because he doesn't have front claws, and if he ever got loose, even if he was on a leash, that would be way too dangerous for him. Cracker Jacks enjoyed the interview. I'm glad to hear that. Do I have any initial ideas about a community event like the World of Warcraft thing? Right now, no. Like I said, the first thing that we were actually talking about was like Call of Duty, because I'm actually doing that. Like, I'm not saying that in the future there wouldn't be opportunity for us to do things like he suggested, but I'm definitely not going to be doing that now. Like, we're so busy. We're in the busiest gaming time of the year. We're going to have to be picking and choosing the games to play. There's absolutely no way that I'm going to be able to be like doing an MMO right now. This one was honestly the best interview. Why do you think that? Why do you believe that was the best interview so far? Why doesn't he have front claws? Because he was declawed by his previous owners, and when we rescued him, he already was front declawed. Sadly, he had been at the rescue shelter that we got him from for months. People didn't want to adopt Jasper because he was front declawed. A lot of people are looking for like that hybrid cat that can be indoor-outdoor. And because he was front declawed, no one was adopting him. We're like, we don't care about that. We'll keep him as an indoor kitty. So, yeah, it's sad. We would never have done that. We never would have declawed him at all. That's an awful thing to do to a cat. I received a $1.50 tip from Sarah. Call out false pearl-clutching moral crusades about past mistakes. They casually dismiss your detractors' illegal, harmful behavior as a joke, but they say it's 100% reasonable for you to get canceled and your account suspended for a stupid decade-old joke or roasting someone with blue hair. I am not going to agree with the blue hair thing. That's stupid. Seriously, to make fun of someone with blue hair, you think that that's a bannable offense? That's insane. I don't want to do business on a place where I make fun of someone because they have fucking blue hair. Like the F word thing, sure. That I even admitted as it happened. I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that word. I was drunk, right? The blue hair thing is the biggest pussy willow shit I've ever heard. If you're putting your fucking avatar on the site, someone can reference the color of your hair, especially because you insulted first. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are we all for? That's schoolyard shit. And like I said, that's why I don't want to be on that business. That business is fucked up. Twitch, that is a complete waste of everyone's time to be over there. Really, it is. It's just so unprofessional. I'm not going to deal with that nonsense ever again. Okay. Let me see something quick. What I thought. Let's see. I received a $1.61 tip, but it's completely anonymous with no message attached to it, but I want to count it for the stream. Thank you for that. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing with the new Dragon Age yet. I think the release timing stinks that it comes out on a Halloween. Like, people really want to see me play the new Dragon Age on Halloween when I'm obviously going to be doing my Halloween event. It's not very Halloween-y, is it? So it kind of sucks that the release timing of it. I guess we'll have to look into it and decide if we want to play it or not. And when we play it, what the timing of that is. I'm not against it. It seems like it's going to be similar to previous Dragon Ages. So I'm interested in it. I loved Dragon Age Inquisition. It was my game of the year. I did play Don't Starve back on the Xbox One days, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was a great game. Is there a Checkers by me? Said Spawn Killer with a $2 super chat. Sadly, no. There's no Checkers out here at all, to my knowledge. I think they're more south, like southern U.S. I've never seen a Checkers, neither when I lived in Connecticut nor here living in Washington State. I don't know if I ever played the Trespasser DLC for Dragon Age Inquisition. I have no recollection. You guys, I'm sure you can search the channel for it. I don't know. Someone, oh my God, someone's messing around. Someone is sending me tips in other currencies and trying to get me to do conversions. How about this? I'm not going to do that. I'm literally not. I'm not going to sit here and try to figure out what a currency conversion is. If you want to send me a tip in a currency that I understand, do so. If not, you're just not going to get a shout out. All right, I received a $5 tip, though, in a currency I recognize from an anonymous tipper. Thank you for the $5 tip, whoever that was. By the way, for those who weren't here last night, we did hit the goal. So actually, if we hit the goal on this stream, it would be actually starting up a streak again. We'd be at 2. Now the goals are adjusted. It's $150, and it's between everything. It's between super chats, super stickers, and tips included on each stream. And this goal will carry over to the metaphor stream that we're about to do. Okay. So we're got a good head start. 62 in climbing. We're third in. Thank you guys. No See Real Life says, I'm personally not burnt out on fighting games. I think it's got to be mixed days to play them. Yeah, I think the thing is between not only playing the MVC collection a lot, but now Street Fighter 6 with this DLC coming out, people are burned out. Like the Terry Bogard videos I made did not do good. They barely have like 300 views on them. The day did not go well either on the streams. I think people are just like, too much fighting games. You got to do something different. So I'm happy to bring different content and maybe every once in a while balance in the fighting games. Like I think the next time I'm going to play Street Fighter 6 is like maybe like Monday or Tuesday night, and it's just for one night. We'll see. Tag did a super chat. $5. New Zelda's amazing. I've been playing it all morning. I hope you like it. It's a possibility. We need to get through the games I'm playing right now, notably Astrobot and the casting of Frank Stone. And once we're done with those two, we'll determine what's next. And Zelda is a possibility. Zelda's possibility. I can't speak today. Dead Rising Remastered is a possibility. Epic Mickey Remastered is a possibility. That just came out too. So we have a few different possibilities of games to play until Silent Hill 2 Remake comes out, and then that's the big focus, right? Okay. Let's see. Blade 2.0 did a $5 super chat. Steam Next Fest starts October 14th. Any plans to download a bunch of demos and stream them? Give your thoughts on upcoming games. Maybe. Is that what is October 14th is like a big demo day? Maybe we should do that. Keep in mind though, October is heavily loaded with games. October is a very heavy release month, so it may be challenging to try to interject little things in there when we're balancing a whole bunch of other games. I guess we'll see how it goes. Jasper Kitty. Jasper Kitty. Would you like some bursts, buddy? Would you like some treats? I'm going to give Jasper Kitty some treats on stream. Hold on. Today, would you like some bursts? You jumped on camera. You were very cute. There we go. There you go. There you go. You lick some out of my hand. Enjoy the bursts. They're yummy. They are liver and beef flavored. They were donated by a fan. There's still 2 more. But now my hand is soaked with his saliva. I gotta go wash my hand. Yummy. Good boy. Good boy. No, that's it. I'm not gonna give you too many. Poor positioning. It's my lap. Shut up. You look gross. Good boy. Now let me go wash my hand quick. No more. You're not gonna get I received a $5 tip. No more bursts. No more bursts. He wants more bursts. You just had a whole handful. I think you need to quit painting trolls with a single stroke. A lot of them are just there making funny content. I challenge you to pull a video called So Kino by Darksea to Flow and tell me it isn't hilarious. Use clips from your show to make a hip-hop diss track from you to RTU. I've already seen it, and it's great. I have no problem with that. Guys, here's the problem, is now I think, every time that I say detractors, I think that people think that I'm referencing every single person who's making fun of me. I'm not. I'm really not. My detractors for me are the biggest A-logs. The people who literally stalk me and my family and everything about me and my business, and they just keep fucking harassing us. Those are my detractors. Not, oh, I want to make fun of Phil, so I take some clips and I make a video here, I make fun of him here. That's fine. I don't give a shit about people making fun of me, right? But when people are actually making a living slandering me, when they're calling to action their audience to false flag my videos for things I never said, that's a detractor, all right? The problem is people hear that and just, oh, he just says every single person is a detractor. No, I don't. But that's the funny part. That's what my detractors want you to think. They want you to think that that's how I categorize them all, because that proves their narrative that I'm a bad person so they can keep making content. That's not what I mean. So stop. Here's the truth. Stop listening to them. You're listening to the people who are trying to cause me harm and taking their word for everything rather than going to the source. You can't do that, or you always will get a skewed perspective. The problem is people have been so used to doing that for so long that now they're just used to doing that, and they just go right to it. Like I just said, you know, Asmongold, you know, talking about me. He's watching a detractor clip, and stuff's out of context, and he doesn't really get what's even getting talked about. And the name of the video is DSP is like insulting Asmongold, and you watch the video, and I literally never insult Asmongold in the whole video. But that's what people are used. They're used to getting their information about me from these negative things that are spinning it in a way so they make money. That's messed up. Thank you, Habib Gaming, for a super chat. He says, AC Shadows is delayed till February 2025. I'm well aware. What we will do is on Saturday, because I'm not here tomorrow, on Saturday, we will reconvene and have a level 1 podcast. That's a normal show. And on that podcast, okay, we will talk about all these gaming topics. We will actually recap everything that happened that's important from State of Play. What I actually want to do is watch like the new Ghost trailer and stuff like that. I know stuff is coming out of Tokyo Game Show right now. We'll be talking about all of this on Saturday. Fair enough? Okay. All right. Are we good now? Have we decompressed? It was about 30 minutes. Shall we adjourn and then get set up with Metaphor? I'm very excited to play the Metaphor demo today. I don't know if we're going to get through the whole thing, because now we're not going to have 5 hours, but we'll see. But I'm very excited to try out the Metaphor demo, and hopefully it's really good. Okay, so thanks to those who chilled. Thanks to those who watched the interview. I hope you enjoyed it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this actual stream up as unedited, so you can actually watch this in its entirety whenever you want, all right? Or you can watch it as 3 separate videos later, because I've recorded this at 3 separate videos, so you can watch those separately later as well. Whichever you choose. And I'm going to have a whole separate stream for Metaphor. All right? All right, I'm going to end the stream. You guys do need to jump over to the Metaphor stream, and I hope that you will, and that we'll have a good time playing Metaphor this afternoon. So give me like 5 minutes. The stream will go down. Give me 5 minutes to get over there. I'm actually going to set up this background to be for Metaphor now, and then we'll continue, all right? Thank you all. You were a great audience. Thanks for your contributions. We're more than halfway to the goal. Thank you for that, and I'll see you over I'll see you here, just on a different stream for Metaphor. Peace out.